Okay. Just start now. Go ahead. Back. Move you out of the way. That would be great. Okay. Should probably put a gift up. That would be a good idea. Like always ready, but not ready. Hi. You're first. Okay. That turn that on. Now it is. Okay. 6, 7. Is that the ranking? Listen, I'm trying something, but also at the same time, I think I'm done with my videos being shadow banned today, so I don't know if it's necessarily gonna matter, because for the first time, my videos are actually doing something from the last 3 videos. Who knows? Who knows? But we're here! That's the point, is we're here. You heard me yesterday. I'm sure everybody heard. I've been complaining for a while. I apologize for that. It's been a thing that I've been doing. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see if I need to focus a little bit more. I can't. Okay, that's all right. I know, Sparky. I'm so happy that my videos are going back on the For You page. Am I open to descending opinions? I'm open to dissenting opinions. But I always ask for sources on claims that are made. I was about to say, that's why I knew you were going to come in here and yell at me. My brother Mod is also like my producer now. Okay. Should we get ourselves going with some music on this Titties Tatas Out Tuesday? I think that we shall. So everybody lock in. I'm sorry, YouTube and Twitch, that you do not get to hear the music, but we will be with you shortly as we start our day. Okay? Okay. I know. I know I'm on mute on YouTube, guys. I know. Sorry. It's just me singing a song you guys can't hear, so. You're number one. What about waffles? I do like waffles. Yay! Stand out above the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud. Why didn't that work? Yeah, yeah, yeehaw. Yeah, yeah, yeehaw. That's why you're making me do this now? Okay, I see. Lenati, this is the other one. The one that all the millennials know is the one at the end. Notice I'm alive. Chance I have a second glance over. I got whatever it takes. Stand out above the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud. Well, it's just not the one they talk about. This is actually probably my favorite of the other one. Yeah. Stand out. Ooh, till mine is the only face you'll see. All right, good morning to everybody. No matter what woke time zone you're in, welcome to Tuesday. I appreciate you guys being here. Yes, I am unmuting over on my OBS, so I remembered. Thank you guys, though, for reminding me, because you know a bitch forgets. Okay, let's get ourselves started. If you're watching over here on TikTok, well, if you're watching on all platforms, you can see that I changed my camera angle. We're going to see if this works. We're going to see if this works with engagement. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to this. When you Google it, it says nothing. I don't know. But maybe my whole face is better. We'll see what goes on. But if you're watching over here on TikTok, if we could start tapping that screen, please, that would be fantastic. I got rid of the little bar because I really just didn't know where to put it. And also, it just doesn't seem to matter because the taps are not tapping the way that they have been, and I think that's more of a TikTok problem than you guys, but just work your hardest to continue tapping. I will continue to remind you as the day goes on, but just make sure that we're still doing that, okay? I would appreciate it. Also, let's do, what else? Share it out now. Apparently makeup is the first priority. God. They've seen me without makeup on this channel. It's happened. Let's repost now, add it to your story, share it to 5 of your friends. That should be this little arrow that's down at the bottom over here on TikTok so that you can repost it now, click it again, add it to your story, click it again, and share it to like 5 of your friends. That would be wonderful to help push us out onto that algorithm as we get started this morning. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. There should be a little heart next to my name up at the top because obviously you're already following me. So if we could do that daily heart me, that would be wonderful. Gives you access to stickers in the chat. There's lots of fun ones of my face you get to use in there. Also, while you're up there, if you click, there should be my C3 gift gallery because the gift gallery refreshed for me. And I would appreciate any of the grayed out ones. If you have any extra coinage that you could do, that would be wonderful if you could light those up. But in the interim, let's work on getting these roses. They should be up there. These roses accomplished. I do just little like penny coin gifts, so we slowly start to increase as those get filled. I'd appreciate it. Again, just really helps boost us out onto the TikTok algorithm engagement, showing that TikTok wants me on that For You page because you guys want me there. So let's make sure we're doing that. If you're watching over there on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for me, please. Again, helps push us out onto the algorithm over there on Shorts on YouTube. I do go into this looking to have conversations. I will open the phone line up in just a moment. I have conversations with people who are still supporting Trump, not why you voted for him, but why you're still supporting him today. And if you're going to give me a policy, which I'm going to ask you for a policy, I expect you to be able to source that policy and how it's actually beneficial to the American people. We seem to have a lot of trouble with that, which is why we don't get a lot of callers. Totally fine. Not an issue with that. Also over there on YouTube, you can subscribe, you can become a member, you can send jewels, and you can send super chat in case you have something you would really like me to read and the chat's going by too fast, or you just really want to ensure I read it. Sending a super chat ensures that it gets read. All right, I appreciate it. And over there on Twitch, good morning, all you lovely lovelies over there in the Twitch chat. You guys know the best way of engagement is going to be to chat, but if you have the means with which to do so, you can follow, you can become a member. Remember, if you pay for Prime, Jeff Bezos gives you 1 free Prime sub a month. Why not use it for me? And you can also send bits over there as well. And my goal has moved, but it is still the same. It is 150 is my goal. We do about $50 an hour. I'm on for 3 hours. And this is my job. As much as YouTube chat is very, very mad at me right now, it is my job. It is what I do for a living. It is how a bitch pays her bills. Thank you so much, Trademark, for filling out the hand hearts. I appreciate that so much. W's to Trademark, please. It's how I pay my bills. I have to pay taxes on it. It's a fucking job. But we crowdfund for women's labor here. We pay for women's labor here, and I know that we do. So let's start working on that, please. Dollar Train, $2 Train, $5 Train. We can get that started and going. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio across all 3 platforms. If you're over on YouTube, it's going to be in this little corner now. And if you're on Twitch, it's over there. Shall we get ourselves started this morning? With torture? With torture? Thank you, Scuba Steve. W's to Scuba Steve every single morning, ensuring that I am Frustrated every single morning. I gotta do, okay, I gotta do math. I have to do math. But Blue gave me this wonderful thing for while I do math. Math's gonna take me longer than the song, but here you go.
It's time for the calculator. 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 It's time for the calculator.
No! I was so close. Why does it do that at the end? Every single time. Every single time. Here.
It's time for the calculator. 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 It's time for the calculator.
Okay. That's not an even number this time, right? Right? It's not supposed to be an even number, right? Right? Because you've been... I don't like this. Oh my god, I don't like this. Am I crazy? Like, yes, I know I am, but like... Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, no, it's not. Scuba Steve's just fucking with me. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks! Thanks. I appreciate you. Right. Okay, now we can get our morning started, guys. After that torture, I appreciate it. But thank you so much to Blue for that audio of Mia for my time for the calculator, because it was. All right, we're going to do some breaking news. I just saw this, so there's really not much information I have on it other than what is being reported, so we're just going to talk about it. Let me turn that on. I didn't do that either. Hold on. I need to get that up. Not that one. That one. Okay. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is on a secret trip in Russia. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is in Moscow, Russia for meetings, sources familiar with the situation told CBS News Tuesday. News of his trip comes after a U.S. Air Force Boeing C-17A Globemaster III transport plane was spotted at a Moscow airport, along with a U.S. diplomatic motorcade. Neither the U.S. nor Russian governments has commented on the identity of the U.S. official in Russia or the purpose of the visit. The CIA did not immediately comment. So this was like something that was leaked to CBS News that it is John Ratcliffe. They're not revealing who it is, but it seems to be John Ratcliffe. It appears to be Ratcliffe's first known trip to Russia as CIA director, though he has maintained contact with Russian intelligence counterparts, of course. The CIA has also played a role in recent U.S.-Russia detainee exchanges, including the April 2025 release of a Russian dual national, Ksenia Karelina, whose case Ratcliffe personally negotiated. The agency was also involved in the 2024 prisoner exchange that secured the release of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and Marine veteran Paul Whelan. Former CIA Director William Burns traveled to Moscow in November 2021 when he met with senior Russian officials and spoke directly with President Vladimir Putin to warn him against invading Ukraine. Ratcliffe's visit comes as U.S.-mediated peace talks with Ukraine remain mostly stalled, with sides still far apart on core issues. So they could just be meeting to have talks about what's going on of the failure that is the Ukraine-Russia war that he said he would fix within 24 hours of being elected. Thank you for calling the stream. What country are you calling from?
Australia.
Okay, what'd you call in about?
Just a quick preference over Trump to Hillary. Reason being is because if you guys had voted in Hillary, we likely would have had this Russia and Iran problem earlier in the decade than we have. And Russia was more capable back then than they are now.
So you're supportive of Donald Trump?
In the case of him versus Hillary, yes. However, personally,
that was 2016. What about Kamala?
Again, I would have preferred the Libertarian Party.
Okay. But would you prefer to have Trump as your leader than the one you currently have?
He's more competent than any Aussie or politician. We don't have an organized right wing or any competent politicians. We only got socialist leaders in Australia.
Cool. So then what I would suggest you to do is Donald Trump, being the president of my country, has now set a worldwide precedent of allowing for the kidnapping of sovereign leaders of sovereign nations. Come get him. We'll pack his bag and his binky for you. You can come get him. Hillary is a crazy pull. Crazy pull. Why? W's to Reina for the 384 and the 168 for get your calculator handy, Monica. And also, I love making Monica do math. Have fun. Love you. I don't like it, though, which is why you guys like to do it. Audie, I'll mess with that probably after the show, by the way. And then I'll see what else you had for me. 3903. I don't like it here. I'm being bullied by my chat and by math. I don't like it. So yeah, is he probably there for reasons of negotiations and talks? Yeah, probably. I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm just saying it was news, so I reported on it. Okay, let's talk about this one that everybody's talking about and freaking out about yesterday. I need you all to take a very deep... I didn't move my alerts. That I didn't do. I didn't move my alerts. Those are still in the same spot. Let's move those up. Let's move those up here. Okay. Where's that gonna go? That could go down here now, I guess. I need everybody. Right on the eyeball. I need everybody to take a deep breath. This is why, if you don't understand legalese, I need you guys not to freak out. Okay? In. Through your nose, out. Through your mouth. Okay, let's talk about it. Supreme Court sides with Trump administration on mail voting restrictions ahead of midterms. Already, the title is misleading. Already, the title is misleading because the Supreme Court didn't make any determinations on the merit of the case. So, let's talk about it. The Supreme Court opened a path Monday for possible implementation of President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting, though it remains unclear how much can be put in place before the fast-approaching midterm elections. What is it now? It's like less than 90 days, right? They made it clear it was preliminary, but unfortunately the news headlines and the headline hoochies did not. But we will talk about it, because guess what? I have the actual order that you guys don't fucking read. The decision leaves room for additional court challenges that could further slow Trump's order, and other similar cases have already been filed. That's the important part with all the freak out. What is going to happen, if it has not already happened this morning, is going to happen this week, is going to be all the AGs from the 23 states and Washington, D.C. are going to come out and put in now separate lawsuits challenging the rule. The issue we have here, I'll get into it in a minute. The U.S. Postal Service laid out how it would implement the order last week, but time is running short to impose those changes. Does anybody know how many days? 70, right? Okay, thank you. It is. Thank you, Audie. It is 70 days to do this. They have no time. And by they, I mean the Trump administration. The Trump administration has no time. North Carolina is sending out ballots September 4th overseas and to military voters, and other states will quickly follow suit in just a few weeks. The Supreme Court, if it does make it to the Supreme Court, but even lower courts are really, really hesitant to mess with things once the ballots have gone out. Once ballots have gone out, it makes it a lot harder. We've seen that in regards to primary challenges after primary votes have been counted. Courts really don't want to fucking overturn that because they're like, that just discounts their vote. Other than obviously Virginia, which is a separate issue. The Supreme Court's conservative majority didn't decide the legality of Trump's order. Instead, ruling...
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Thank you, Peter. Instead, ruling that states who sued did not have the legal right to challenge it. While the emergency order is not final, it does have the potential to create chaos around voting across the country. With Trump often questioning the integrity of elections in the nation's highest court, again, the possible arbiter of a political controversy. The court's disposition of this application does not mean that any measure taken by the government to implement the order will necessarily be lawful. On that score, time will tell. We did this again. We did this recently with the ballroom decision. What SCOTUS did is it said that the blocking is removed right now, so you can continue construction while the case goes through the lower courts. This is very, very similar. They're saying this one one injunction, okay, is blocked until the lower courts make a decision. However, this is enjoined in a separate case where an injunction is still, the temporary injunction is listed, but there's still an injunction in a separate case. I think it's like the women's voters group that is still in effect. And let's talk about why this is important, why we really, really need to read these things. So let's go to the actual order, okay? Oh, yeah, I have something kind of on it. It's not the New York Times, but we're going to talk about Canada. Okay, so this is the 37-page, I don't even want to call it an order. I'm 24 hours late. This is a 7-page, I guess, order in regards to the temporary stay, right? So this is the one everybody's been talking about because that's the actual order by the Supreme Court that lifts the temporary injunction. But let's talk about the actual case. About 5 months ago, President Trump issued an executive order designed to maintain public confidence in federal elections. The order is an external directive from the president to his subordinates, mandating that certain agencies pursue certain policies. It neither requires nor forbids anything of anyone outside the executive branch. 3 sections of the order are relevant here. The first orders the Secretary of Homeland Security to take appropriate action to create and send state citizenship lists to each state. These lists will catalog the residents of each state who are U.S. citizens and who will be above the age of 18 at the time of an upcoming federal election. States are not required to use the lists, and the Secretary may compile and transmit them only, the extent feasible and consistent with applicable law. So again, we have to understand the executive order. According to the Constitution, okay, states run their own elections. So, although you can have baby back bitch McMullins make a list, doesn't mean the states have to use it. Why do they always fail to define job? I don't know. It's a good question. They can't define words. Second, requires the Attorney General to prioritize the investigation and, as appropriate, the prosecution of state and local officials or any others who issue federal ballots to ineligible voters. Now, you can do that. It's going to be very, very hard for Todd Blanche. Words mean things. It's going to be very, very hard for Todd Blanche to prove intent on a purposeful, malicious intent of sending out ballots to ineligible voters in the states. But sure. And the third directs the Postal Service to, quote, initiate proposed rulemaking that includes several proposed provisions. One such provision is that outbound ballot envelopes must contain a unique barcode to facilitate tracking. I live in a state where we do that, so I don't know. He was asked 4 times to provide a definition. He failed the assignment. Shocker. The order does not demand that any proposed provision appear in the final rule. So again, this is important too, because this case was sent up before the USPS finalized the rule, which is part of why the temporary injunction has been lifted, because they're saying you have to be a plaintiff, right? You have to show harm. You have to show that there was undue harm given to you based off of defendant's actions. The defendant's action would be this proposed rule. And what SCOTUS is saying is, although you can go through the lower courts, right? The rule itself was not finalized at the time of you filing this lawsuit. We talked about this when the proposed rule came out and everybody was freaking out about the proposed rule, right? We saw this in the lower courts. The rule was not finalized within USPS yet. It is now, but what that means is you have to file a brand new lawsuit. This was to go against a proposed rulemaking. So what the court is saying is basically saying you were not harmed because the rule is not actually in place. That's why we're going to see a bunch of brand new lawsuits now, because it is now in place. So that's why I'm just really not freaking out about it. A few days after the order was issued, a group of states and the District of Columbia filed suit in the District of Massachusetts. As relevant here, the states argued that 2 and 3 are unconstitutional and sought to enjoin their implementation. The government countered that the state's suit is not justiciable because the order does not injure them. Doesn't injure them yet because it's not actually a rule. Now it is. New lawsuit. The district court largely agreed with the states and entered a final judgment forbidding the government to implement 2 and 3 as to them for the upcoming midterms. After the First Circuit denied the government's request for a stay, the government sought a stay from this court. To secure a stay pending appeal, the government must show that it is likely to succeed on the merits and that it is likely to suffer irreparable harm without a stay. It must also demonstrate that the balance of equities does not counsel against relief. Of these factors, the likelihood of success on the merits and the likelihood of irreparable harm are the most critical. I think we completed the Rose Gold. They hate me. As for the first factor, the government is likely to prevail on the merits of its argument that the district court lacked jurisdiction to enter the judgment. 2 related doctrines of justiciability block the state's suit. So they're going to go through the entirety of the case here. What they're saying, again, you can go into the dissents and whatever, is that it's not causing harm yet because the rule was not finalized under this lawsuit. It was under the proposed rulemaking. You now have to file a new lawsuit. So the USPS has indeed issued a rule. There are official stand-up talks already being done. No, I know, but when this lawsuit, the one that SCOTUS is talking about in regards to the temporary injunction being lifted, that was on proposed rulemaking, which is why I'm talking about the fact that there is a separate lawsuit, there's a separate injunction, okay? There's a separate injunction that's still in place. And guess what? The AGs, I know mine sure is, I know a bunch of them are literally today filing the new lawsuits on the USPS finalized rule. So when the AP, okay, frames it the way they frame it so that you click on it and freak out, I just want you guys to understand and maybe actually read the order if you can, or have it broke down to you in a way that's not freaking out. We stay vigilant. I'm not sitting here saying that it doesn't mean, thank you, Audie. I'm not saying it doesn't mean they're not trying fuck shit, but they're trying all the legal fuck shit, and that's not working for them. The other fuck shit, we just have to be ready for. And we know we have to be ready. Just stay vigilant. Don't boo, vote. Don't freak out. Get out there and do what you need to do. Do carpooling for voting. If you need to go vote in person, go find out where your drop box is for your community, and make sure they're aware of that. Like we just need to stay vigilant instead of being like, oh God, he's gonna do it. Like, yeah, no, we knew that. Duh, he's gonna try and use every avenue. But let's make sure that we're being honest about what the Supreme Court did. The Supreme Court did what it always does, and it says, hey, this injunction just can't go through while the case goes through. Okay. Okay. Going to the Hill now, we have New York. Why? We're going to read it real quick. New York supermarkets sue over Mamdani's municipal grocery stores. Then I have to take it off for a second because I don't know what this ad is that the Hill has been running for the last week and a half, but I'm over it. Okay. A group of grocers in New York City filed 2 separate lawsuits on Monday against Mayor Zoran Mamdani's administration following the proposal, thank you, Peter, of municipal grocery stores across the Big Apple. Let me do this. Luckily, it's actually a lot easier for me to do it now with the gifts being organized. So we've got that. Got that going for us, right? We'll say yay. Okay. Plaintiffs united under the Multicultural Business Coalition sued Mamdani in state court, alleging their civil rights will be violated if city-run grocery stores are opened. The second lawsuit alleges Mamdani's administration didn't engage in a proper analysis of the impact municipal grocery stores with reduced prices will have on current grocers. So what I would say is in regards to the civil suit on the rights will be violated if city-run grocery stores are opened, I would say, again, similar to like SCOTUS would be you would have to show harm, and you're not showing harm. You're saying there will be harm. You would have to prove it to the courts that there will be harm. I don't know quite how you get that across. The second lawsuit, however, if a court is susceptible to the idea that like, did you run enough studies and show enough that this doesn't affect other grocers, I could see them having a case. Plaintiffs have been denied equal protection where the plaintiffs' predominantly immigrant and minority-owned grocery stores are unable to offer similarly discounted products of the New York City GP, and therefore the former are being unduly denied the equal protection of the subsidized municipal grocery stores, where the defendants have failed to take corrective action, namely meaningful study and analysis to avoid furthering historic discriminatory exclusion and exclusion generally. The first lawsuit obtained by Fox Business Network states. Therefore, the plaintiffs are suffering undue harm, attorneys for the plaintiffs add. Grocers represented by Mark Jaffe, the president of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, said the municipal stores offered to sell food items 30% below the market rate, a rate that rivals or exceeds Walmart discounts. The second filing obtained by the New York Post states. For years, grocers within the boundaries of New York City have fought to keep large retailers like Walmart outside the city's market, afraid an untold amount of opportunity for minority businesses and small business at large would be eliminated, the lawsuit states, right? They're trying to protect the local corner stores, the bodegas. Plaintiffs argue the 5 planned city-run grocery stores set to open next year with $70 million supported by taxpayers would have the same chilling effect. Once a month, the municipal grocery stores will evaluate prices and set the cost for food at 30% below retailers. Mamdani has said he believes the measure will help crush inflation, cut overhead costs, and stabilize prices across the city while giving residents more affordable grocery options. The city will own the land and cover overhead costs like rent and construction, while a private operator selected through a request for proposals will manage daily operations under a contract, according to Mamdani's office. Right, you can't shop for a family of 6 in a bodega, that's true. We are talking about a reflection of a cost of living crisis that has seen grocery stores increase by about 30% over the last few years. And we're also talking about delivering 5 city-run grocery stores in a city of 8.5 million people that has more than 1,000 grocery stores, Mamdani said Monday at a press conference. So they're suing over five stores. And we've seen, in fact, with Essex Street Market in Manhattan as well as Moore Street Market in Brooklyn, a model where the city has subsidized grocery stores, and it has not had a negative effect on bodegas around them or on grocery stores around them, he added. His office and Jaffe did not immediately respond to the Hills' request for comment. I wouldn't expect them to. But just something to keep an eye out on. And maybe, capitalism just does it better. We'll see. That's how that works. Okay. Thank you so much, W's, to Mia for the 469 saying maths. Why do you do this to me? No more Mona Lisa. I just want to try this for like a week or so and see if the engagement improves. If not, we'll go back to having a frame. To be honest, I could still put a frame around giant me. It's still possible. I could still do it. I just shift it and mess with it. Fine. Here, Mia. Mia, did you hear this? Were you here for this?
It's time for the calculator. 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 It's time for the calculator.
I didn't do it. Blue did it. Hashtag blame Blue. Nope. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move that. Hold on. Working things in progress. Kind of. Sure. Right there for now. Then we'll mess with it later. All right, this one. This is fun. Judge Engelmeyer.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Thank you for the crabs, Peter. Judge Engelmeyer denies Ghislaine Maxwell's bid for release from prison, saying her claims of new evidence that undermines her guilt are frivolous and meritless. Let's talk about it. This decision resolves a post-conviction challenge by defendant Ghislaine Maxwell to her 5 felony convictions, all arising from her participation with the notorious pedophile. Sorry, I'm trying to. Jeffrey Epstein. You guys are too fast for me today. W's to you. In the sexual abuse of young girls over the course of a decade. On December 29, 2021, the jury convicted Maxwell of those offenses based on trial evidence of her guilt that was overwhelming. It included the testimony of multiple victims recounting abuse by Epstein and Maxwell, plus extensive corroborative evidence, documentary and testimonial. On June 28, 2022, the Honorable Allison J. Nathan, who presided over trials, sentenced Maxwell principally to a term of 20 years imprisonment. The Second Circuit then affirmed Maxwell's conviction and sentence, and the Supreme Court later denied her petition for certiorari. I did it this morning. And by the way, that Supreme Court decision was 2025. Maxwell, heretofore represented by able counsel, now moves pro se to vacate her conviction and sentence under 28 U.S.C. 2255 in a lengthy and rambling petition, which Maxwell twice supplemented with similarly discursive addenda. She claims that her constitutional rights at trial and sentencing were violated in multiple respects. Well, the judge said, Maxwell's claims are all meritless and all or almost all are frivolous. The vast majority are procedurally barred, either because Maxwell made and lost the same arguments on direct appeal or because she could have made such arguments on appeal but elected not to do so. And the purported new evidence to which Maxwell points, principally materials released under the EFTA, it's the Epstein Files Transparency Act, is largely irrelevant to the charges against Maxwell and does not support her claims of error. On the contrary, to the extent it is relevant, far from exculpating her, it incriminates her or reinforces the correctness of the legal rulings Maxwell challenges. The court accordingly denies Maxwell's petition. So, there's that. I'll move that down. I feel like that's going to get me in trouble, though. Hold on. I don't mind it being barred because TikTok does not like my sources, unfortunately for me. Okay. So that's the breaking news I have for you. The next place Maxwell has to go is Trump, to be honest. That's where he has to go now. So. You've missed 2 crabs. Where should I start? Let's start with Bessent that moves into economy, and then we'll get into El Sayed on Jesse Waters, because we're gonna watch the whole thing. All right. So Scott Bessent came out yesterday doing his press conference for the economic D-Day against Iran, and it was lackluster at best. Can he pardon her on his last day in office? He could. Yeah. Has someone made this comparison before? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I'm not Sarah Silverman. I'm Silver Saraman. So I don't know if he will. He might. I just don't see the benefit he would, even from his last day in office. I don't see what benefit that gives him unless she's giving him money under the table to run away to the Middle East or something. No, that's not why, Bowser. You were muted for a different reason. So it's fine. Okay. Anyway, Bessent gave a lackluster performance of threat on economic threat yesterday. Let's see. That was that one, right? I didn't want... Did I move that one? Or did I put it in here twice? I wouldn't be shocked. Hold on. Sorry. 1 second. I think I put something in here twice because I would do that. I think I did. Okay, so they're calling it Economic D-Day, right? The thing about D-Day is we didn't threaten D-Day. It was a surprise. We just did it. So the fact that they're coming out and saying, hey, we're going to do this is very, very interesting to me. And he gets called out for that, and his answer is very telling.
Let's see. You in the front.
You described this as an economic D-Day, but D-Day wasn't a threat of an invasion, and the U.S. didn't give a timeline to Germany. So why not impose the sanctions today?
Well, we are giving everyone the opportunity to remedy bad behavior. Why would I want to blow up the global financial system? We believe that...
Oh, so you know that imposing sanctions on the countries and the financial institutions that are also holding money for Iran or helping with money with Iran, you know that it would blow up the global financial network. Okay. Just reveal all your cards on the table, Scott Bessent. That's a nice way to show you're going to taco. Thanks. We appreciate it. Just want you to listen to him say it again.
Not impose the sanctions today.
Well, we are giving everyone the opportunity to remedy bad behavior. Why would I want to blow up the global financial system? We believe that
That's literally what you're threatening to do. So you don't actually plan to do it. Okay, cool. You don't actually plan to do it. Oh, somebody's mad about my highlighter in my inner corner. No, thank you.
it is important to level set and give people a cure period, but they should know that that will move very quickly and that we are serious. Secondary sanctions are a very powerful tool, and we here at Treasury, this is Gene Lang, the Acting Undersecretary for Terrorism Finance, and in the Terrorism Finance Department and at OFAC, the reason we are able to use secondary sanctions is because we do not take their use lightly. So we believe that a warning shot and a level set of expectations is appropriate.
Is that what D-Day was? I mean, listen, I know I'm like a woman, but like I'm a big fan on World War II history, and I don't remember where D-Day was a warning shot. just wondering. Just wondering if anybody else can explain it to me. Damn it. Where's the... That's not what it was. This is all just nothing. This is all just bluster. Once again. Hello.
Good morning. Quick question before I dig into any of this. Do you have Canada on your outline today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I won't bring that up then. I don't want to like dive into other shit because it all like, oh, maybe that's a message to ask a question about. But I will point this out. All right, since someone is very upsetty spaghetti, thinks that he gets muted for having differing opinions, I would encourage said person to remember that Patriot is also in the chat, hasn't been muted for having differing opinions. Nigeria is also in the chat, hasn't been muted for having differing opinions. So when we tell you that that's not the reason why you were muted, perhaps you should be introspective and try to figure out what other actions have you done in said live that might have earned your mute. Okay. Oh, it's okay, Peabody. I'm just waiting to see if behavior repeats itself, because it's probably going to repeat itself. And at that point, I will enjoy myself in that. And if you ever go over to the YouTube chat, which is an absolute cesspool most of the time, you'll see that probably 75% of it is filled with people with differing opinions that don't get yoinked unless they use a naughty word.
Not a naughty word.
Yeah. I mean, that was the best way I could put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's why this is a learning experiment with said individual. We'll see if he can pass it. More than likely, he will be the laughingstock of the experiment because he's already failing and floundering colorfully.
Hi, Mia.
Mia.
So since we're talking about, war strategies and stuff like that, and being misinformed about like war strategies and stuff like that, I just want to point out, because apparently D-Day, it was warning, just like the DSA is the Trojan horse, So I love these war references that make no fucking sense.
They just like...
As a woman.
No, these are just men like, D-Day, like... But it's a warning shot. Like, that's not what D-Day was.
At all. But to be fair to Mr. Scott, right? Or whatever the fuck his name is.
Scott Besson.
He just learned words this year.
This is true.
Like, it's very evident he just learned words. So it's fine. However, Trojan horse, not a good reference. Neither is D-Day.
Correct.
Because that's not what happened.
Yep, that's true. I sent you a message, and I realized I was trying to like not have so many errors. The answer is just yes or no to that question, I'm sure. Mia, why'd you run away from me?
No, actually, so if you want to talk about that piece.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and also, sir, this is a learning experiment. Perhaps you need to look up what that means So you understand why I'm not giving you the answer. Yeah, maybe you'll understand what that means. So part of the reason, and I'd have to try to find the clip, but part of the reason why trade deals with Canada fell through was because one of the expectations in it was basically that Canada had to move in lockstep with the USA for every sanction that the USA would place on Iran or other specific foreign countries.
Right.
So it ties directly into this for why that trade deal, which you'll get into, fell apart. But they were like, yeah, so you have to move at the same pace as us. If we place sanctions on this country, such as Iran, you also have to place the exact same sanctions on them.
Yeah, they weren't going to do that. There's no way they were not going to do that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I had for this morning so far.
So far.
So far. I'm sure there will be something else. I mostly wanted to semi-humiliate the person that doesn't understand what a learning experiment is or what the word introspective actually means, because he's failing on that one too. Man, learning is hard.
It's very difficult. Well, I love you. Bye.
Bye.
For now. I say TTFN, ta-ta for now. Okay, so Scott Bessent doesn't know words.
And if people do not want to meet our expectations, then we expect, and they should expect, that they will leave the dollar system. Okay? Thank you all.
So then he runs away, but I have other clips from it. They're out of order, obviously, because I'm not going to play the entire press conference. So going after, again, I'll just let him talk. Because they are losing this war, and they're losing it militarily. They are losing it, meet our expectations. They are losing it economically. It's just a mess.
Today we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime. We are enforcing a zero leakage approach. There will be no minimal breathing space for the regime to rebuild its capacity to inflict terror against America and the world. The final refuge of this regime is the mistaken conclusion of nations that still finance the Iranian threat in the hopes of evading it. It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity. Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances.
So the fact that other countries purchase oil from Iran now bothers the U.S. Why? Because we started a war with them that we didn't need to start. And we're like, well, why would you buy from them? Because you didn't fucking tell us anything. You didn't tell us that you were going to war with them. We would have told you you're an idiot. Please don't do that. But you didn't tell us that you were going to war with them. And now you want us to back you up. How about no? And so now the U.S. is doing what it has to do, which is to say, well, we're just going to cut you off then, which would hurt us. So this is all bullshit. They're going to taco on this. It means nothing.
Through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use of their banks, all the while concealing the extent of their complicity. The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime. We are already seeing results. Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate.
So their economy is hurting. Like, the economy in Iran is hurting. The difference is that the regime doesn't give a fuck, and they don't really have to be held accountable to their people, whereas you do.
Any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime. Teams from Treasury, State, and the U.S. military are now meeting with their global counterparts to tell them that the United States expects action. Every country has a defined timeline to shut down activities we have identified. If they do not take action, we will do so unilaterally through Treasury authorities. For example, every branch of bank
I'm not used to this. I don't know how you do this, Hector. There is so much of me.
melee
It's a lot.
must
It's a lot of
be
me.
shuttered and dark. And let me be clear, any entity that facilitates money laundering on behalf of Iran will be removed from the US dollar system.
Right. So we caught the part of that he said, but it's not going to be able to get it done, which is, by the way, why the markets did nothing. The markets said, okay. The markets literally didn't give a fuck. So then he's asked, like, hey, do you have like names? Like, name some world leaders, name some financial institutions. Do you have anything for us on that front?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You said the president is calling world leaders with specific asks and that there is a defined timeline. Who is he calling and what are the asks?
We're not going to name names. That we've already seen some results. And
With who?
that I am confident the president, as you all know, is quite persuasive. And we are following his calls up with calls from visits and calls from the State Department and from the U.S. Treasury, expecting them, or telling the leaders.
What? What was that? What's our big strong stance with them, Besant? Can you want to try that one again? Run that by me again.
U.S. Treasury expecting
It does sound like 90 deals in 90 days again, yeah.
them, or telling.
I don't mute people. I mute you from the chat for other reasons. There's a specific reason why you got muted in the chat. And it has nothing to do with politics. Okay? I have asked you multiple times to come up and have a conversation about politics. Because that's what I do. And I'll ask you to source those claims. You guys don't like that, which is why you don't come up. Okay? Okay. You guys also listen to Hector. I don't know, like, you have to listen to Hector.
Expecting them, or telling them.
Because he knows all those words sound bad. We're expecting them. No. We're telling them. No. I'm finding it.
The leaders, the countries, and the entities exactly what we expect and the timelines. And I would expect that very quickly, if they do not respond.
So again, you're not naming names. Okay. Then he's asked about specific levies on China. China specifically.
Jennifer?
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. You just said moments ago that no one is above U.S. sanctions. What specific secondary sanctions or penalties is Treasury prepared to levy against Chinese banks and shipping firms if they do not comply? And then secondly, as you look to take these unprecedented sanctions, you've also said that as the Iran conflict fades and oil prices recede, that will help bring down long-term bond yields. In the meantime, you have mentioned your toolkit, and I'm curious if you are looking at reducing auction sizes for longer-term dated Treasury debt going forward, and what other actions you may consider from that toolkit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, what?
Soros, I wish you were here yesterday, Sorosky, because I played the video about Donald Trump saying, okay, Donald Trump was asked about what further means of intervention in the bond market could be used, and he said, well, our biggest piece of intervention is the military, and we will use them if we have to. You gonna bomb the bond market? We were still trying to figure out what the fuck he means. But he damn sure said that we could use the military on the Swarovski. I can't believe you haven't seen that yet. It's wild.
Why don't we work backwards. We issued the quarterly refunding announcement 2.5 weeks ago. We are going to continue with our regular program of auctions. So you will be hearing from us again at the beginning of next quarter. In terms of, as I said, every country, every entity should know that they should be prepared to face U.S. sanctions. And no one is above this. We are going to hold everyone accountable, and this is economic asphyxiation of this regime. And Jennifer, as I said,
yeah, Denominally, my man has mastered the art of floundering. He is. I don't know. He told me to say some things.
no one should test our resolve. So,
Oh, you sound so tough. They're so scared. They're so scared, Scott Bessent. They're so scared of you. Let's see. Is this the one? I think I played that one. But a reporter, I don't know if it's the same one, but a reporter called him out, but I just don't remember if it's the same one or not. I'm going to be honest. He has thought ideas. He does have thought ideas.
David from Reuters.
Hi, thanks, Secretary. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to impose secondary sanctions on banks and financial institutions that facilitate transactions for Iran. Chinese banks have...
Right, so then he gives his non-answer about Chinese banks. So yeah, that's the same one. I want to play it because Soroski's here. Hold on. I have to go get it. I just want to play it. I just want Soroski to hear it. Sweet baby, the chat. What about the chat? What happened? What? They're always freaking out. What am I supposed to do with that? Okay, let's do... That was literally yesterday, right? Yep, there it is. Found it. Thought ideas? Oh, okay. I can't read all the chats all the time. Yeah, it is like that, kid. Have you ever had a dream when you can't check all the chats all the time? Okay, Soroski, this one's for you.
So that's all money, no taxpayer money for the ballroom at all.
Did you direct Secretary Bessent to intervene in the bond market? Was
No,
that your idea?
not at all. No, he's a very capable man. He wanted to do it. He's very good at it. He has a good touch, very good natural touch for the bonds and interest, and he did that, yeah.
The yields have come back up since then. Have you talked to him about another type of intervention? Is that something he will be doing?
We have many types of intervention. That's one. The ultimate intervention is our military. And if we have to use that, we will, yeah.
I still don't understand. What? Do I get to drive the tank at least? Yes. Soros gets their own personal tank. How do you use the military for bond yields? I don't... When the only thing Trump has is a hammer, everything becomes a nail. Yeah, Raina? Yeah, that's true. Okay. Done with Bessent. Let's go. I put it in economy, but it's really just Canada. So Fox News, I never heard of military action for bond yields. He's just gonna, if the bond market doesn't exist, Soroski, then we don't have to worry about bond yields, obviously. So Fox News kind of gives him shit for Canada. We like to see it.
That said, Canada now planning retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Steve, are we headed for economic war with Canada?
Let us hope not, because both countries are very dependent on that trade. And the fact of the matter is, in terms of the trade deficit, that comes just from heavy oil, crude, that we export from Canada for our refineries. They can't use any other kind of crude. And so when you take out that critical crude, we actually have a surplus with Canada for those who take trade deficits and surpluses so seriously. So I think they're going to find a way to tamp this thing down. But these threats just create uncertainty, which hurts economic growth and investment. So remember, tariff is another word for tax. And putting taxes on products means there's less economic activity, period. Republicans should know that.
That said, Canada now planning...
Canada's going to win the war. Most likely. Most likely on that. But Trump hasn't stopped. Now, I'm going to read this one. I think it's nothing. It is Trump's way to rile up his base, right? It's Trump's way to say, like, ooh, I'm so strong on Canada, we're going to rename things. And his base to go, yeah! It doesn't mean anything. It's stupid. They literally just have to unplug us. Also that's true. The United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect to doing much. He wrote this one himself. He definitely wrote this one himself. The United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect to doing much business with Ontario any longer. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. It means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Change it. We don't care. It's still the Gulf of Mexico, baby. I don't know what to tell you about that. We didn't know we owned the lake. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. I just wanted you guys to be aware he said it. It's dumb. I don't think that's anything to focus on. Let's focus on the real shit. So we'll get into that, which is just continually fact-checking him. So he also posted this one. This one has a lot more for fact-checking, so let's do that one. I'm gonna... They're mean. My friends are mean to me. Canada has been ripping off. Why is that in quotations? I don't think he knows how quotations work. They've been ripping off, meaning they're not ripping us off, because that's what the quotations would mean, is that it is unserious. Okay. For decades, they have been charging our farmers 400% tariffs and more. Already not true. They've driven many wonderful U.S. companies out of business. Let's stop there. Let's stop there and do 400% tariffs. No, not true. Let's talk about it. So I have two sources here about that. We have the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and we also have the USMCA fact sheet. So let's talk about it first. U.S.-Canada dairy trade dispute, quotas, trade flows, and economic impacts. Canada's dairy sector operates under a supply management system that tightly regulates domestic production and imports. High tariffs are imposed on dairy imports exceeding fixed quota volumes, meaning there's a certain amount that Canadian businesses are allowed to import of certain dairy products from the United States. Once they go over that quota, they are then charged that high percentage of tariff. Rarely ever is that hit. It's fun to stay at the USMCA. I don't know how you do that. You gotta fit those. That's a lot of letters to fit in there. I don't know if that works. But it's also Trump's. Well, we'll talk about it. Canada maintains over-quota tariff rates exceeding 200% on most dairy products, with rates approaching 300% on some items like butter. So not 400%, right? He lied. He already lied. Immediately lied. Not 400%. Under the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, the USMCA, which took effect in, 2020! Who was president? Who was president in 2020? Can anybody tell me? Let's do our 5th grade civics lesson. Trump. I didn't know. What's about the Crown Royal? I don't think they have a tariff quota on that. I don't think. So Trump, Reagan, khakis. No, Trump was. This is Trump's deal. Remember, he didn't like NAFTA. He hated NAFTA. NAFTA was a terrible deal. He did the USMCA, and then has decided he doesn't like the deal that he did. Canada preserved its supply management framework, but agreed to implement specific TRQs for U.S. dairy exports. TRQs permit a defined volume of imports at low or zero tariffs, beyond which prohibitive tariffs apply. Office of the United States Representative, USTR 2023. Canada maintains 14 separate dairy TRQs covering a wide range of dairy products, including milk, cream cheese, butter, skim milk powder, yogurt, and ice cream. Within these quotas, U.S. products enter tariff free, while any excess is subject to steep over-quota tariffs. Okay, we can look at that here as well. This is literally Office of the United States Trade Representative. This is the United States, Mexico, Canada Trade Fact Sheet, Agriculture, Market Access and Dairy Outcomes of the USMCA Agreement. You can read it. Look. Fluid milk. 50,000 metric tons by year 6 of the agreement, growing 1% for an additional 13 years. 85% of the quota will be reserved for further processing. Cheese, 12,500 metric tons by year 6 of the agreement, growing 1% for an additional 13 years. 50% of that amount will be available for any kind of cheese, while the remainder will be for industrial cheeses. This was all laid out by Trump, and now he's mad about it. Trump can't remember anything after 5 minutes. That's true. That's true. All right, let's read the rest of this, though. What else is he lying about? For 10 years, they wouldn't certify Gulfstream jets until I got involved. They wanted 100% of the market for Gulfstream's Canadian competitor. I deal with many countries, and Canada is easily the most difficult and unreasonable. They feel entitled, but they are not a state and will be entitled no longer. They're a sovereign state, as in a nation. This is the art of the deal. Let's talk about the Gulfstream. Let's talk about that. Nope, I already have it. I already have it here. Okay. I did that. Transport Canada certifies Gulfstream G700 and G800 jets after Trump spat. This was in February of this year. Do you want to know how he got it done? Same thing he always does. He threatens. Transport Canada has approved 2 large cabin Gulfstream business jets weeks after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened action against Canada's aircraft sector, saying its regulator was taking too long to certify the U.S.-made planes. Transport Canada certified the Gulfstream Aerospace flagship G700 and G800 aircraft, according to a government document issued on Monday. Reuters first reported the company's smaller, shorter-range G500 and G600 planes were certified on February 15th. Last month, Trump said in a social media post that Canada was taking too long to certify the aircraft. He threatened to retaliate by decertifying Canadian-made Bombardier Global Express business jets and by instituting 50% import tariffs on all aircraft made in Canada. Gulfstream is a subsidiary of U.S.-based General Dynamics. The threat was one of a series of provocations aimed at Canada by President Trump since he retook office in January of last year. Trump has also threatened to annex Canada, and he most recently said he would bar a new Canadian-financed bridge connecting Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, from opening. It is not entirely clear why Trump was focused on the certification issue, as the Gulfstreams have already been certified by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration and do not need Canadian certification to fly there. Yes, that bridge is also open. Under global aviation rules, the country where an aircraft is designed is responsible for vouching for an aircraft's safety. Other countries typically validate the decision in the primary regulator. The president was clear, fair trade matters in every sector, including aviation. And to force fair trade, it's totally free and fair when you have to force it and threaten it. The incident raised alarm among aviation experts who argued planes should be certified for safety reasons, free from political influence. I'd just rather keep politics and aviation safety separate, said Richard Abulafia, managing director of U.S. Aerospace Consulting from Aerodynamic Advisory. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has criticized Trump's use of tariff threats as a negotiating tactic, declaring in a January speech in Davos, Switzerland, that the other nations must accept that the U.S.-led rules-based global order had ended. He traveled to China earlier that month to hammer out a trade deal with the U.S. rival. Again, all we have done is to push our allies, our friends, into the arms of other countries. Good job, Donald Trump. Okay. That was that. Last thing that I have on Canada is... Okay, so Mark Carney said that part of the negotiation tactic from the Trump administration was to go after the French language in Quebec, and to say that they need to prioritize English first over French, and that they were unwilling to accept that. Now, Jamieson Greer came out and said that's absolutely not true. It's a fake story, which is why I didn't play it, because we have no proof in documents to prove that, what Mark Carney is saying, and all we have is them saying no. So it's a he said on that, and that's the only reason I didn't cover it. However, this truth from Trump It probably happened. It probably happened if he's having this kind of a hissy fit. I would never interfere with Canadians speaking French. In fact, I have never even thought of doing such a stupid thing. This lie was made up by a weak and ineffective prime minister in an attempt to gain political support, which he has totally lost from the people of Quebec. I love French Canadians, President Donald J. Trump. So you totally did that then. That completely, totally happened. Right? Because it sounds like it did. Yes, I know. That's what I'm talking about. We're like right on bar. But Trump freaking out about it means it probably happened. Maybe.
Are we that old?
Why?
Because
You sound like it. You sound like you're in a wind-up radio.
back in our day, it was fly like a G6, and now they're a G600, 700. We've been alive for 594.
That's my husband. I just want everybody to know. In case you don't know. My goal is gotta get moved back up again. Can't even do math. Yeah, no, neither can I, to be fair. So, I mean... Okay, on that front, let's move on. We are going to... I have clips upon clips upon clips. And in the realization of doing clips upon clips upon clips, I figured let's just watch the entire episode of Abdul El Sayed fly like a G600 of Abdul El Sayed on with Jesse Waters. So that's what we're going to do. But as we're sitting here, it is a little bit after 10 in the morning Mountain Time. And I know the taps are funny. I know TikTok did something weird in regards to the engagement on the taps, but that doesn't mean we stop. So we need to continue tapping. For those of you who are in the chat, keep tapping my face. Please, we are not anywhere near 100,000 likes, and we need to be. Holy crap, that's all fucked up. I gotta fix this. Sure. So, as we sit here, guys, we have the little rosas. If we could get those accomplished, that would be wonderful. Do not forget about my refreshed gift gallery. If you have the coins with which to do so, maybe knock out one of those gifting goals. Light it up for me. I would appreciate it so much if you did so. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not hit that thumbs up button yet, that would be awesome. If we could, Twitch, you guys are doing fantastic by just engaging in the chat. That is the best way to boost Twitch over there. And guys, I have 134.34 thanks to Mia and Raina and Scuba Steve for bringing that down to where we are at, but 13434 is what we have left. If we could start dollar train, $2 train, or $5 training to get that down. Remember, I have the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio to pay for women's labor. Let's start working on that as I am here for a little less than 2 more hours. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to have lots of stops, so I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to do it. Let me... Okay. I'm so sorry about Jesse Waters. He is who he is, but Abdul El Sayed did fantastic, which is why we're going to play it. That's why we're going to play it.
Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed joins us now. How you doing, Abdul?
It's 25 minutes, but me stopping it turns it into longer.
I'm good, Jesse. I appreciate the opportunity for a good, wholesome conversation, and I just want to start where we agree. We both played football and lacrosse. We both love America. We both love freedom. And I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. We'll see how much we agree on. I know I don't agree with you on this. You want to abolish ICE. Who's going to deport the criminal aliens from the country?
Well, you and I both know that long before we ever had ICE, we had INS. We were able to enforce our immigration.
The people who already did before. So let me ask MAGA, since you don't seem to know. MAGA, when was ICE created? When was ICE created? Oh, wait for a year. I know there's a delay. It's close. 03. Yeah, they didn't answer that. In 1902 is crazy. In 2003. Before 2003, we had INS. Okay? And it was just fine. We could still do this.
Policies without shooting people in the face and the back of the head. And we just celebrated our 250th anniversary. That was an anniversary of throwing away tyranny. Now, to bring that tyranny back under the guise of the U.S. government itself, that seems to me to be inconsistent with the freedom you and I both love.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a dodge, Abdul. They did the same thing as ICE back.
That's not a dodge. You literally asked him, do you agree with abolishing ICE and what would you replace it with? And he said, yes, I agree with abolishing ICE and we already have what we would use, which is INS. He didn't dodge anything. He answered the question.
Back then, INS. Do you know how many illegal aliens are in the country
shoot
now?
people in the face and the back of the head.
Do you know how many illegal aliens are in the country now?
We had, no, I mean, to your point, Jesse, let me just answer the question. To your
answer
point,
it. How many do we have?
Far fewer when we had INS. To your answer, we had
exactly.
far fewer when we had INS.
Exactly. We had fewer undocumented immigrants. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Thank you so much, Hubbub. We had less undocumented immigrants when it was INS doing this than it is ICE. Thank you.
Arguably, INS worked a lot better.
Abdul, listen, we had twice as many illegals now when we had INS.
So to your argument,
you have to have the manpower to do it.
If you want to do that correlation, we have ICE now, and we have far more undocumented people. So ICE is clearly not working. It's just shooting like American citizens in the face and the back of the head. So if you're okay with
illegals are
that,
shooting
then
people in the face
have to agree
too.
to disagree.
Well, the ICE might be shooting people in the face, but so are the immigrants. Hey, buddy. Hey, I don't pay illegal immigrants with my tax money to shoot people in the face. But you know who does get paid with my tax money? ICE agents. And I don't like that ICE agents are using my tax money to shoot people in the face. He's such an idiot.
Abdul, you got a guy in Michigan.
So are American citizens.
You got a guy.
Sean Miller, what crime did they commit? And how do you prove that they committed that crime? You don't just get to say it, right? Because that's not how that works in this country. Okay.
We have a responsibility to get back to the conversation about the broader issues.
Okay.
Well, you cut me off, Jesse, and you said we're going to have a good conversation, so.
Yes, I'm fine with that, Kurt. Investigate them. We're not investigating the ICE agents who are shooting people in the face and more so in the back. Right? The states are having to take up that burden because the federal government is doing everything they can to protect them. You want to investigate murder, investigate murder. Undocumented means you came here illegally. Incorrect. Incorrect.
I'd like to do that. I just want to answer the point. When I travel the state, and I have traveled my state, more people are asking me about how they're going to afford their gas and groceries. They're not asking me about immigration.
Well,
now,
they also don't want to get molested.
Abdul,
you got a guy here from Southeast Asia, molested a kid. ICE just picked him up. You want that guy to stay in Michigan?
I'm glad that guy got picked up, but that's a different thing than saying that INS would not have picked him up. Jesse, you're too smart.
Right. Nobody, like, that's the thing, is abolishing ICE doesn't mean we wouldn't pick that guy up. You would just have INS do it. Good. I'm glad that they picked him up. It's a horrible person. He needs to go through his due process in the judicial system, and he needs to be locked up accordingly to what the jury and the judge sentence him to. Duh. Then where are your documents? Why do you not have them? I do have them. I just don't have to carry them around with me because I'm a United States citizen and I thought that this was a free country and not Nazi Germany.
For this.
It's a bureaucratic game you're playing, and that's a dodge.
You point to him, you say,
you need guys to get...
Jesse Waters is not smart. He is not a smart man, and so he does not understand these things or how to fight back on them. He just has rhetoric. That's the process you need to go to throw them out. They don't want to do their job because they're busy robbing the country. You use due process to get them out. Literally the only thing I advocate for is following the Constitution. The president doesn't follow that.
These guys out of the country.
And therefore, ICE, we need ICE. I'm just saying, look, playing by your own rules. When we had INS, we had fewer people doing the things that you're talking about.
That's because Biden didn't blow open the border back then.
When we had that.
All right, that's because Biden didn't blow open the border back then.
And that's not an ICE question. That's a CBP question.
No.
God, I love him so much. That's true. You want to talk about the border? We were talking about ICE. Nice pivot, Jesse Waters. ICE isn't at the border. CBP is at the border. Would you like to talk about CBP and CBP reform? Or do you want to talk about ICE? Which one is it, Jesse? Do you not know the difference anymore? Oof.
You guys let in a ton of people.
I live in the projects. I live in a 5-bedroom house. I live in the projects. In one of the highest property taxed areas in Colorado. Are you okay?
And we got to get them out. And we'll take the guys out the way we need to take them out. Green New Deal.
Sean, call in. Let's have a discussion about the law. I have no problem discussing the law. It's one of my favorite things to do. She does live in Kansas, though. Fuck off, Peabody. Calm down, maybe get out of your feelings. It's not feelings. I was very, very excited that Jesse Waters got called out for talking about CBP and pivoting to CBP when they were talking about ICE. That was a pivot on Jesse Waters. He lost.
Back that up. Do you drive an electric car?
I drive a plug-in hybrid made right in the United States. The bigger question about cars, though, is why the president just started a trade war or escalated a trade war with Canada. It's about to make all of our cars, especially the internal combustion engine cars, so much more expensive.
You
Also,
want to
we can
get
talk about
rid
the
of the
actual war in
internal
Iran that's raising our
combustion
gas
engine.
prices. No, I don't. Who told you that?
That's what the Green
My
New
dad
Deal
came to
says.
America to design internal combustion engine.
When has now and again, this is where I ask you guys to give me information I might not have. Where has Abdul El Sayed talked about being pro Green New Deal, but specifically getting rid of combustion engines in the Green New Deal? Where has he ever said that?
No, that's
The
not
Green
what
New Deal says phase
It
out
says that
fossil
we could
fuels.
build renewable
That doesn't mean getting rid of combustion engines. That means we need to look for other fuels because that's a finite resource.
energy opportunities. Look, I'm not going to defend the Green.
See, the problem is you think being here illegally is not a crime because deportations aren't handled in a criminal court. They are deported. We don't want them here being a bigger burden. No, no. I think that improper entry is a civil violation. See, Sean, this is why I ask you to call in because you don't know my stance. You're assuming my stance. I know that improper entry is a civil immigration violation against the law. But guess what? You have to be charged and convicted with it to be a criminal, right? Because that's what the Fifth Amendment is and the 14th, right? So don't assume my stance. I don't think that coming here illegally is not a crime. That's stupid. But I also like to differentiate between asylum and improper entry, which people are not being charged and convicted for. Also, the fact that they're holding people, detaining people 90 days without a bond hearing and they're getting in trouble in court for that, on top of the people that they're deporting without even being seen in front of a judge, violating their due process in this country. Right, Sean? If you know the law, right, Sean? What's the law for improper entry, Sean? Do you know? What's the law for asylum, Sean? Do you know? Do you even know the title that our immigration law is under, Sean? Do you know? Look into the mirror first. See if you've researched enough before you come after me.
New Deal. What I'm telling you, though, is that we could make a whole
You're
lot
on the
more
record
amazing
as
jobs if we
backing
actually
the Green
invested in
New Deal,
renewable energy.
Abdul.
Look, I'm just telling you this. Are you opposed to the idea that we could reduce energy costs and create jobs in Michigan? Are you opposed to that?
Absolutely, but I don't want windmills in Lake Michigan.
So you are absolutely.
Why? Word of the day, introspection. Why? Why don't you want windmills in Lake Michigan? Why?
You're absolutely opposed to that?
Yeah, I don't want to
So
put
you'd rather have a
windmills in
pipeline
Lake Michigan,
than you'd
do
rather
you?
have windmills.
I don't think the people in
Well, I don't
Michigan
want a
want that,
pipeline in Lake
Abdul.
Michigan, and right now we
If
have
you're
one of
running
those.
on that, that's not going to
Jesse,
go
look,
over
we
too
have
well.
a pipeline. No, I mean, Jesse, look, we can have a conversation if you want to. If you want to keep cutting me off, we could keep doing that too. But you told me we're going to have a good conversation. I just want to talk about something.
Go ahead.
Right now, we have an oil pipeline in the Great Lakes. If that oil pipeline were to burst, the consequences for our Great Lakes would be disastrous. Now, you're telling me that you'd rather have a situation where that happened than a windmill? That really is so offensive to you?
No.
Now, those windmills are good
I'm
union
saying I don't want to
jobs.
get
If we
rid of
built more them,
fossil
we'd
fuels,
reduce
and
the
that's what
price
the
of
Green New
electricity.
Deal does. Let's move on. You want to
And I'm not
soak
Let's move on.
saying
the
that either.
rich.
Look,
Rabdul, because this isn't a podcast. I got to sell ads in the breaks. You want to soak the rich. Let's listen to what you said about the taxes. Run it.
I also think we got to start taxing wealth for people who have over $100 million. I mean, at that point, like, what even are you going to do with more money?
What are you going to do with more money? I mean, whatever I want.
I mean, Jesse, I don't.
Yeah, that's the point. Then you're not helping the country whose backs you're fucking standing on.
I don't know how much you make.
I'm
Look,
not
I don't know how much
not
you
a
make, but
billion.
I
Yeah,
think
we
I'd
know.
rather have. Well, yeah, look, so that's exactly it, right? The question ultimately is, do you want to drive on good roads, or would you rather have a billionaire make a second billion? That's what Mike Rogers wants. That's what Donald Trump wants. Apparently, that's what you want. I think the people in Michigan want something different. They want good roads and good schools.
So
and I
you're
think we could tax
saying,
billionaires
so
their
you're
wealth to
saying
do that.
Beyonce, who just became a billionaire,
Okay.
she has to break you off something every year? She has to pay the...
That was a microaggression, by the way. I just want you to know that was a microaggression. I just want you to be aware of it. White people, fellow white people, that was a microaggression or macroaggression. It was just racism. Anyway, Beyonce just became a billionaire. You want her to also get taxed on her wealth?
Politicians.
It's not me. It's the American public.
Also that. You want her to pay politicians? No. I want her wealth to be taxed for the people. Let's just be honest, Jesse.
And every year, she has to pay the politicians.
It's not me. It's the American public.
You're
Beyonce,
the one
I
that
think,
wants
would
the
be
money.
happy to be able to contribute back to the public schools that she went to. I think she'd be happy to invest in good roads in her community. I think she'd be happy to pay a little bit more so that everybody had a little bit more.
Jesse Waters getting cooked. So John in the YouTube chat, you said, where do you dispose of the windmills? How much oil and grease goes in a windmill? People have no idea that these climate machines are dirty. No, and here's the thing. If they wanted to have an honest conversation about, I wouldn't call them climate machines, but if you want to have an honest conversation about energy, you could have it, right? Like, fossil fuels, really, really, really bad for the environment, really, really, really bad for climate, right? Digging for lithium batteries for green energy, also really, really, really bad for the environment, but maybe like this much less bad, right? So nobody is saying this is going to be a final perfect utopian solution, and costly, yes. Nobody is saying it's going to be a utopian solution. The problem is a lot of conservatives have this all or nothing attitude versus progression. That's why it's called progressivism, because you're working towards a better solution. And instead of just saying, well, we're going to use this because this is what we got. Well, this is bad. This is maybe a little bit less bad. Maybe we should focus on making that better. That's all. But I would agree with you. Yes, dirty, expensive. Let's work towards making it not so.
It's an insane thing to be defending billionaires from your channel, Jesse. That's a crazy thing. I thought you were for, I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day, I thought you were for the everyday man. Like, if you're for billionaires more than you're for every other person, well, you and I are just going to disagree.
No, I just think I have the right to the fruits of my own labor. That's America. It's not communist, what you're talking about.
What? Jesse. Ooh, Jesse. Jesse, welcome, comrade. I just think I have the rights to the fruits of my own labor. That's America, not communism. Actually, no, that's literally socialism. Oh, Jesse. Oh, sweetheart. She said Jesse got cooked. It's official. She's delusional. I'm not. I just know how to listen. I just want the fruits of my own labor. Do you?
That's America.
Oh, sorry. I didn't go back far enough.
I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day, I thought you were for the everyday man. Like, if you're for billionaires more than you're for every other person, well, you and I are just going to disagree.
No, I just think I have the right to the fruits of my own labor. That's America. It's not communist, what you're talking about.
No, the problem with it, Jesse, is you and I both know
socialized health care.
Billionaires don't make money. And let me just answer the question.
Sure.
No, let me go back to that.
Go ahead.
Billionaires don't make their money off of their labor. That, I think, is where you head off.
Right. I want you to have the fruits of your own labor. But right now, the corporations have the fruit of your labor. And he's going to explain it even more. You mean owning the means of production?
Billionaires that make their money off their money. So if you have $1 billion, your billion makes another 100 million. That's not the fruits of your labor. That's just the fruits of your money making money.
Right. They take money, they take capital, they invest it. They don't actually have liquidity. They put money in, they build capital, and they just bet and invest off that capital over and over and over. That's not the fruits of your labor. That's just playing the market.
I think it's okay. Like, if we tax you at 7%, you're still going to make, what, a cool $30 million off your $1 billion? I think it's okay. They're going to be okay, Jesse.
Yeah, I just don't.
I think they'll be all right. I think if they make $30 million off of every billion they make, I think they'll be okay.
I like the idea of politicians like you capping how much money people make in America. That's just me. We can have the vote.
Which is interesting because have you said anything about Donald Trump when he yelled at the gas corporations for making too much money and saying they need to lower cost? Have you said anything about Donald Trump coming out and putting a price cap on, it's not capping, no. He didn't say how much they could make, he just said what they'd be taxed. So yeah, also wrong. But did Jesse Waters say anything about Donald Trump literally putting a price cap on imported beef? No. Because that's price caps. That's price fixing. Jesse Waters didn't say a damn thing. Abdul El Sayed did not say that there would be a profit cap, that you can't make above this amount. He's just saying if you make above this amount, you get taxed 7% on your billion. I mean, it's coming from Argentina.
Voters in Michigan decide. You say you want socialized health care. Abdul, how much is that going to cost?
It's going to cost the average Michigander a whole lot less than they pay right now.
Correct.
But I'm just going to tell you.
No, but what's the
I'm
price
up against
tag
a
of the
guy
program?
who voted to raise prescription drug prices 19 times, right? And so I'm just saying I want to bring your costs down. The price of the program is going to be.
That's fair, Eli. That's a fair compromise. You can make all the money you can after every child can eat. Sevi.
Be substantially less for an everyday person who's out here who can't afford their health care and worried about losing their health care with their job.
Well, give
so
me
that's
the
what I'm
total
focused on.
number.
Look, while you're out here trying to talk about the broader national budget, I'm a lot more interested in the.
Hey, God, you guys are not smart people. Not smart at all. Thank you, Carl. That's so cute. It's a clapping seal. We know I do that a lot here. You said communism doesn't work. Look at Cuba. Did Cuba ever have the chance to be communist without any kind of capitalistic intervention, Darren? Just a question.
Everyday budgets that Michiganders are thinking about. And that's exactly the budget that Donald Trump and Mike Rogers are blowing up right now.
God, you guys are so broken. Like, that's why I don't talk to you. I mean, besides the fact that you guys are too cowardice to call because you don't have facts behind your shit. Wouldn't have to have more taxes if we got the Democratic fraud. Are you insane? Do you know the millions of dollars that the IRS is still owed from taxes that people have filed and just never paid? Maybe we go after that. Go after fraud. That's fine. But you literally voted for somebody who is pardoning fraudsters. So I don't know. I don't know where you think you live. Where did communism ever make things better? I'll wait. Communism has never existed without the intervention of capitalism. So where has capitalism ever made things better? I'll wait.
Well, I just don't see why you're so on the side of the billionaires, Jesse, rather than on the side of everyday Michiganders.
No, because I don't want you guys to blow the country up. Do you know how much the federal budget is now?
No, neither do I. Here's exactly
What's the federal budget?
You guys want to, right, Pete Hegseth, who used to work for your
question. Do you know
channel,
what the federal budget is?
to raise. No. I just want to talk about this. Look,
he says he doesn't know.
You want to talk about budgets? I'm happy to do
that.
that. The guy who used to work on your channel, I think he was like the 6th host on the 5. He wanted to raise our military budget to $1.5 trillion, and you don't seem to be upset about that. What? So we could fight a war we don't know how to get out of? To raise our gas prices $5 a gallon? That doesn't make sense to me, Jesse. We want to talk about the things that we actually should spend on. To me, that's
I have a feeling, Abdul, you don't even know how much money the government spends every year. Do you know?
Look, the question, Jesse, to me
All right,
is,
so you don't know.
Right. You can only cut so much in spending while not making enough. But the problem is that you don't have any administration that stops spending. Like, they try to cut back on some spending, but it's not enough to cover what we are spending. Like, we're not taking in revenue. That's what we need to do. We need to take in revenue. I would rather live in the USA. That's why I'm fighting for the USA. I'm fighting for it to be better.
Oh, let me tell you what it is. It's $7 trillion a year. And your plan
Jesse,
to take over the healthcare system is $4 trillion.
And here's the problem with it. So to exactly your point, do you know what?
I've gone over this a million times, Kurt. The president pardons fraudsters. You can literally Google right now. Go Google right now. Open up a new tab, a new window. Go into your Safari or your Google and type in, okay, President Trump clemency and pardons. It will give you the entirety of it. Go find on page or Control F and search fraud. You'll find all sorts of them. All sorts of them. It's a terrible freeze frame. That's fucking jump scared nightmare fuel, Chris. No, I'm not. I just changed the camera angle. We flipped the camera vertical.
I'm not very good at math. I don't think you're very good at math either, but go ahead.
Clearly, you don't. And you don't seem to care. But I don't think most Americans want to spend that much money on military escapades so that the folks stranded on the USS.
Look at Biden's pardons. What about him? I don't know how many times I have to say this to you people. I don't think the president should have sole pardon power. I think if the pardon power is going to exist, it needs to be done by a committee. Hi, Steve. Always. I try to come in there at least one time in the morning and just hang out and listen while I get myself ready.
Abraham Lincoln can't even get a sausage for breakfast. I just think that we could do a lot better with our money, Jesse, and I think that's where you and I tend to disagree.
I just disagree.
Mike Rogers agrees with you.
I think if you spend $4 trillion, everything else is going to get really expensive. You're going to look back at Bidenflation, and you're going to wish you were back there. But you brought up foreign policy.
What? You want to talk about inflation? I'd be happy to talk about inflation. Jesse, you actually said the word. Because everywhere I go in Michigan, people are talking about the...
I run on emotion and not logic. How is talking about the pardon power emotional? I literally said I don't think it should be up to the president, which would be based on emotion, for him to pardon whoever he wants. That goes for any president. Trump, Biden, Trump again, Bush Jr., Obama, Clinton. I don't think that they should have the sole pardon power. I think it should be a committee that decides that. That's not emotional. That's literally logical. Because then it keeps from conversations like this.
Fact that they've never had to worry as much about life being as unaffordable as they say right now. Now, I get it. Donald Trump likes to blame everything on his predecessor. But let's be clear, this is Donald Trump's economy right now.
Correct.
And he's about to make everything so much worse because he's in a vanity war with the Prime Minister of Canada. And look, like, I'm in Michigan, and you're from New York, right? So you know Canadians, man. They're the only people I know who apologize before they even did his thing. So now they're raising the tariff to 50%. What's that going to do to inflation?
Yeah, what is spending $4 trillion going to do? I think it's going to make it a lot worse. But you brought up the war. Are you glad the...
Yeah, maybe the judiciary. That might be a good spot to put it in.
Ayatollah is dead?
You're just emotional. Okay, Mr.
Yeah, I mean,
Echo.
look, he was a terrible person, but that's beyond the point. The bigger question is, should we have gone to war in the first place? Look, I just want to be clear with you, right? I mean, I'm never going to defend the Iranian regime, but I am going to defend the idea that we probably shouldn't be fighting wars we don't know how to get out of. Oopsie, you go to war and you tell us that it's going to be a special military operation. That was in February. We're now in September almost, and we're still fighting the special military operation. I mean, it's not working for us, Jesse.
We're not really
this is
fighting
exactly
it.
what
It's a
happens when you've got a dunce
blockade.
in the White House who doesn't know what he's doing.
So you'd go back in time, you'd give them back their nuke program, you'd give them back their Air Force.
Black Wolf, I know that the Biden administration referenced stuff that was done under the Trump administration, but I wouldn't say they blamed him for everything, right? There were things that were, it would not have mattered. If Trump won in 2020, which he didn't, he lost. But if he would have dealt with the same issues that Biden did in regards to supply chain issues and inflation, because that was global, that was worldwide, okay? That would have been an issue regardless.
Their Navy.
No, I'd go
Because the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble.
And we actually
The nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble. The JCPOA was not a nuke program. Because when you say nuke, people think nuclear weapon. That's not what it was. They were only allowed to enrich up to 3.67%. They constantly had inspections to check that they were staying within that mark. Nobody can show me a report during that time where they violated the 3.67 enrichment. All you guys can show me they did it after the fact when Donald Trump tore it up. They no longer had an agreement with us, so duh. Yeah, nuclear fuel. Right. But you guys are simple-minded, so he just says nukes, because then it makes you mad and scared. It's all you have.
had nuclear containment.
Prove that, Mr. Echo. Since I'm so emotional, but prove to me that they were building nuclear weapons during the time that the JCPOA was instituted.
Now, Jesse, you like to, I mean, look, I understand selective memory about history, but we had a JCPOA that was well negotiated, that actually had nuclear non-proliferation far more.
Prove that they hid them, Mr. Echo. How do you know that they hid nukes? How do you know?
securely than what we have right now after having gone to war for the better part of 6 months.
Yeah, I like the fact that the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble. They can't even get access to it, but that's me. I think we'll figure.
Jesse is not smart. He's ending literally every conversation going, but that's me. Because he has no clue what he's talking about. It's just rhetoric. It's script. It's cards. All he has is to read shit that makes MAGA go, yay!
Figured it out. The thing you said about
so let's just stop there. So
Sure.
Jesse, wait. I understand you're not good at math. I get that. I'll give you that. But science, we gotta talk about science, okay?
Yeah.
Look, me
you
either.
understand that like nuclear material doesn't just go away because you buried it under a mountain of rubble. You understand they could still go back and bury it out, right?
Yeah,
You
we're
get that.
watching it from Space
Right.
Force.
So
We're watching it from Space Force. Yeah, but the whole contingency was going to get it so that they don't have the material at all, right? And Donald Trump literally did an interview where he said, I don't know, we don't really need to go get it. That's more of a PR thing. So we don't need to get the material. The material was so dangerous for them to have that we needed to go get it. Now we don't need to go get it anymore. Now it's not about that anymore.
Anybody
we're not any
that
more
goes near
secure
it,
than we were
kaboom.
back then.
Okay, let's move on.
You're in denial. Again, Jesse is not smart. Echo, you are also not smart. You used the wrong use of your, and I'm still waiting for these hidden nukes that apparently they didn't hide them too well because Mr. Echo knows about them.
You said getting rid of Sharia law was white supremacy. Let's roll the tape. Go.
I don't have to tell you that the same exact forces that drove native peoples from their land 2 centuries ago, destroyed Black Wall Street a century ago, bombed a building decades ago, and tried to ban Sharia law not a decade ago, that those forces are alive and well today.
So getting rid of Sharia law is white supremacy. Can you explain that one?
Do you know what canon law is? Jesse, I assume you're Christian, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so canon law is the name for Christian.
Right, he also didn't, no, well, he's talking about white supremacy in that speech, but let's be clear, because you guys like context. You guys are the context crew. Let's add context to this. What work, if you guys can remember for me, if anybody can remember, give me the other examples that Dr. Abdul El-Sayed gave in regards to talking about white supremacy. He talked about banning Sharia law. Okay, cool, that's one. What were the other two? What were the other two examples? Let's see if you can pay attention. Well, I know you guys know. I know you guys know. MAGA didn't listen, did they? Sorry, Randall came in. She doesn't have kids, and that attention that would be on kids is now on supporting criminals. It's Tuesday. My children are in school. You okay? Anyway, since none of MAGA can focus, thank you so much, Ari and Blue, Black Wall Street, and what we have done to the indigenous, and what they continue to try to do. He was talking about white supremacy in those aspects, but of course, Jesse's only going to focus on the concept of Sharia law and say that going after Sharia law or disagreeing with Sharia law is white supremacy. That's not what he said. He said that white supremacy is alive and well going after the indigenous, going after Black Wall Street, going after Sharia law or people who practice the Islamic religion.
Law. I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose.
That's a weird thing to ask, Randall. Goodbye. Mods, you guys can get rid of Randall forever. It's probably Randy. It's probably Randall's account. He's just making another one, because shocker. You said, why did I get so triggered? Prove you have kids. I don't believe you. Yeah, because I'm totally gonna fucking do that. Totally gonna just put pictures of my children on the screen with a bunch of psychopaths on the internet. How about no? Don't put your kids on the internet. And I'm saying this regardless of your political affiliation. Don't put your fucking kids on the internet. Don't put your kids on the internet. Okay? Okay.
I don't know why the idea that I could practice.
Okay, sorry, I know. We will get through this interview eventually. Typical slur, muting free speech. I am not Congress. I can't mute free speech. I'm a private political commentator. I can mute whatever the fuck I want because I'm on private platforms. Cry harder. Read the Constitution.
my faith as I choose is a problem. Nobody is trying to push Sharia law on anyone else, just like I hope nobody is trying to push canon law on anybody else, because we live in an America where you should have the freedom of your religion. So the idea that you have somebody like Tommy Tuberville, right, who, you know, barely was good at coaching football, is out here trying to ban Sharia law when there's less than 1% of the Muslim community in America, as if somehow Muslims are out here trying to push Sharia law, that seems to me to be deliberately targeting the Muslim community because they're different. And I'm just saying that, like, I have no issue with people practicing their faith. In fact, I would never want somebody to push their faith on me, and I would never want to push my faith on somebody else.
Good, because no one wants you to get rid of your religion.
And so the idea, I'm
no
just saying,
one wants
so,
that.
So, but when people preemptively go out
Nobody's
there
doing that.
and start preemptively passing laws to ban something that's not happening, what you're trying to do is target a very small community because they're different. And this operates. I mean, look, I'm just going to say, there's statistical evidence that the president and
Sharia
the vice
law in
president
Michigan
like
is
to
kind of
target me
scary.
simply
People
as a
don't
function
go
of my
for
faith.
that.
It's not happening. It's not happening. It's so scary. It scares me.
You know, it's like men
Nobody's
aren't
trying to
equal
push it on
from
anybody,
women.
but, like,
It's like
I just think
physical
you
punishments.
like to say the word.
True, Caleb.
Look, Jesse, look,
People
you
don't like
to
that
say
in
the
Michigan.
word
I'm just saying,
because it
I don't
seems
think
really,
that's a good
really foreign
position.
and scary. Nobody's pushing it. No, but Jesse, no.
Oh, Jeff, is it? It's a limited public forum. It's limited, I guess. I could show you its limitations. You want me to show you its limitations? Okay. See you in 10 minutes. There's its limitations, Jeff.
Nobody's pushing it. You know what the issue is in America, in Michigan?
What?
The issue that people are worried about is not that somehow somebody's going to come and push Sharia law on them. The issue in Michigan is people are worried about how they're going to afford their gas. The issue in Michigan is how am I going to see a doctor when I get sick? How am I going to keep my job? You're out here, honestly, you got.
Exactly, Blue. Hey, it could happen. That's conservatives' entire thing with fear-mongering is like, but it could happen, and it scares me. Okay, but like you can't afford to get your gas right now, and you can't afford to eat, and that's because of Republicans. I know, but the Republicans are scared of the same things I'm scared of.
I love to play this
agree
culture war
with you,
game where
but
you use these words that sound really foreign
I agree
to
with you.
avoid actually having to talk about the issues that everyday people like to talk about. Now, look, Mike Rogers is the guy
Sure.
I'm running against for U.S. Senate, and I know you've had him on your show.
No.
Maybe he answers questions. I don't know if he
haven't.
does.
I've
Maybe
actually
he goes
never
on
had him
Newsmax
on.
only. But look, you haven't. So he's ducking your show too because he's ducking. Look, can we all agree? Like,
Right. So, Abdul El Sayed did he's done stuff with PodSave previously. I know they've reached out to Mike Rogers because they tried to. He's not reaching out.
I haven't
Jesse, you and
invited
I
him
are going
on.
to have a debate, right? Can we all agree that Mike Rogers is a beta? Can we all agree with that?
I haven't even had
Dude
him
won't
on.
even come on your show because he's afraid of getting grilled. So I'm
and
just
I
gonna say
will
this.
have him on.
That guy,
and I'm sure
wants
it'll
to
be
out
great.
here
But
talking
Abdul,
like, Jesse, let me just
can
say,
I back up
he's
for
out
1
here
second?
trying to talk about Mike.
Can I back
No,
up
I
for
just
1
want to
second?
finish my point. I'll finish. I
Go-
swear
yeah,
I'll be quick.
okay, 'cause
No,
Mike
let me
Rogers
just
isn't
finish my
here to
point.
defend himself.
He thinks he's running against Hassan Piker.
Okay.
Well, maybe then he'll actually come on your show. Maybe I'm doing you a favor then. But the guy's a beta, doesn't like to answer questions, and he dodges every debate.
I
So I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure he's
I
going to dodge you too.
need
All I'm
Mike
gonna say is
Rogers
this.
on the show, but thanks
All I'm
for
gonna say is this.
thanks for booking it. You know, I agree. Gas
Mike
prices
Rogers
are
would
too
probably
high.
benefit.
Hi,
could probably
guys.
benefit
Prices
from
Hope you
are
have a
something.
too
great
high.
day.
Abdul, pipe down 1 second. Gas prices are too high. Green New Deal's not going to help that. You said that we get to keep our doctor.
It's not true. It does bring down energy cost.
I've been told that before.
Maybe if we're less reliant on something like the Strait of Hormuz for for the global market on oil increasing, so that dumb fucks like Donald Trump can't just start a war with Iran and close the fucking strait. Yeah, it would reduce the energy cost. No, Jesse was not prepared at all.
We were lied to. So let's move on.
Jesse.
You said here, I want to move on because we.
Do I like Islam? I don't like any religion. But you have every right afforded to you under the Constitution for your freedom and your liberties to express it and to worship it. That I don't have any problem with. Just don't use it in your pieces of legislation, regardless of what religion it is.
Jesse,
we do have to hit a break.
No, let me just finish the point.
Please.
You told me you
Yeah,
want to say
did,
something.
yeah, I know.
Go
And
ahead.
I want to just finish my point, okay?
Yeah.
If the only answer that Mike Rogers and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have to this economy is to point to me and say there are scary words associated with him, I'm just going to tell you those scary words are not raising gas prices or keeping you from seeing your doctor.
Again, just fear-mongering. Just fear-mongering. Hi, Blue.
Hi there. I just wanted to say many of you in here already know that I am a deacon at a non-denominational church, but I wanted to point out to YouTube that as a Christian, I don't mind other people practicing their religions. I have no problem with that. As an American Christian, I am absolutely fine with people practicing their religions as long as they are not harming anybody else.
Right. As long as it doesn't infringe on other people's civil liberties, it's fine.
Exactly. So I don't understand what other people's problem is with Islam if it's not affecting them.
Because they think it does. They think it will. I don't know. Maybe I always think it's a projection thing. It is Christian nationalists, not Christians, but Christian nationalists want to push this on everybody else. So they're terrified of it being pushed on them because it's exactly what they're trying to do.
And if you actually read your Bibles, Jesus said, if they don't hear your words, dust kick the dust off of your feet and keep moving. Like, you don't stay and try to push anything on anybody. That's pretty much the practice in most Abrahamic, or in all of the Abrahamic religions.
100%. Well, thank you, Blue. Always appreciate our deacon coming up with a religious perspective.
Absolutely.
Okay. What else did I have? Oh, thank you, Val Ventura, for the $9.99 super chat. You said, thanks for bringing it, Monty. Let me try. I need to move that again. I told you, we got new camera angles. Give a bitch a chance to get some stuff worked out here. With the new camera angle. Okay, it's a lot of me, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Do I want different laws for Muslims? No, that's weird.
I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all. And I think that actually will solve problems in Michigan.
I'm not scared of you.
If you think
Also, though, real quick, we do have, I found a pretzel gift, guys. I found a pretzel gift. So give me the pretzels, because you know I love them. I love the pretzels so much. But our gift goal hasn't really moved. So we have 134.34 left, and it has not moved at all. We have about an hour and 10 minutes left, and my goal has not moved. So Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio, guys. I rely on you to pay for women's labor here, and we don't seem to be doing that today. So Dollar Train, $2 Train, I don't know who they are. Dollar Train, $2 Train, $5 Train, we can surely get that accomplished. I know that we can. Do you mean to come up here? Oh, hi.
Oh, hey. I wasn't looking at my phone when you accepted, so it took me a second.
It's like, wait, are you here?
No, I was gonna piggyback on something that Blue said, and I think a lot of them fail to understand. Because, like, Mr. Echo is like, oh, I don't want them ramming it down our throats. I've never had a Muslim come to my front door, but you know who has? I'll give you fuckers 2 guesses. I just wanted to throw that out there. Nobody's tried to convert me to Islam. Nobody's tried to convert me to the gay agenda, but, well, yeah. That's all I wanted.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, W's Eli. To further add to that, and my group chat knows this, but I haven't said it out loud. I had a DoorDash order like a month ago, okay, that I ordered for myself. It was Taco Bell. I had ordered Taco Bell for myself. My Dasher picked up the order. My Dasher showed up to the door, set it down, took a picture, walked away. I went out and grabbed my order, and my bag had stapled to it, I threw it away now, but had stapled to it a flyer about God. It was not a flyer advocating for church, which you still are not allowed to do as a DoorDasher, but it literally was just about God. But who's shoving it down whose throats? Who's shoving it down whose throats? Okay.
Abdul, I just think you're a little misguided.
Or running against my faith is going to fix problems? Go ahead.
No, I just played what you said and we talked about it, so we're all good. You also said this, you want to replace the right to bear arms.
No, yeah, report it, Amber.
With the right to health care. You don't want to replace the Second Amendment, do you?
Well, look, man, I think more people are more worried about whether or not they can see a doctor than whether or not they can have a gun. I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, you're dodging the question. Do you want to replace the Second Amendment?
I'm just saying that more people are more concerned about seeing a doctor. If we had a right to health care in this country, they probably wouldn't. And I think that'd be a pretty good thing, don't you?
I think you dodged the question. And that's a pretty big one in Michigan. But I'll take it as what you said. You
Jesse,
said
look,
Colin
at the end of the day,
Kaepernick.
I'm perfectly fine with people. Let me just finish to answer your point. You said I dodged the question. I'm perfectly okay with people having their hunting rifles. It's an important pastime. I've got family that goes hunting every single year.
He's in Michigan.
But don't you think we should have a right to health care? Don't you think that'd be a good thing in America? Can we just say that?
75% of the country likes the health care coverage they have. I don't want to screw that up.
Now, I can't find what he's citing. I went and looked. I have seen studies where over like 50% of people are approve of the coverage that they currently have, their option, their healthcare plan that they approve of. But I can't find his 70% number. If somebody has that, he said 70% of people like their current healthcare plan. I just couldn't find it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just couldn't find it. But until then, it doesn't exist. So I went looking, but couldn't find it.
No.
Right, that would be my question. Are those people that are on Medicaid or Medicare? I don't know. I would love the study to be cited. It wasn't, but
75% of the country wants guaranteed health care through Medicare for all. So maybe you have your facts. I guess I know you guys do alternative facts over here.
now that is true. We do have studies in regards to that a majority of people, granted it moves, I don't know if I would say 70%. We've seen higher numbers. I've seen lower numbers on the end of like 56 to 65% of Americans that are surveyed or polled say that they would be for an option of Medicare for all. So that is true.
We'll find out. I'll give you that. We'll find out in November. But that's a gallop.
Why are you guys talking about Obamacare? I'm talking about Medicare for all. Why are you guys talking about Obamacare? That's weird. Those two things don't mean the same thing.
Poll. You might not believe it, but
yes,
I'm telling you what it is.
Yes, we will.
You said Colin Kaepernick was a good guy, and you said the NFL was racist. What did you mean by that?
What he said.
Look, I think for Colin Kaepernick's sake, I think he should have had several more years in the NFL. Now, I think he's a pretty damn good quarterback. I think, unfortunately, he lost a lot of time. But the bigger question right now when it comes to football, look, I know you guys like to think I don't like football, but I'm happy to line up against anybody who thinks that I don't like football.
He played football. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I vote for Trump.
Okay, your age and your state?
I'm 45. I'm in North Carolina, but I'm a New York boy from heart.
Okay. Why'd you call in today?
I just want to see you. I just want to know why, I don't know, people like to debate this country. I just want to know why we don't support our president in our country anymore. That's really why.
Well, those are two different things to me. I do support the country. I do not support Donald Trump because he's not doing anything beneficial for the country.
Well, and that's where I differ because I don't see a Democrat that could I don't see a Democrat is beneficial for this country. So that's where we differ.
That's awesome. But a Democrat is not in power. Republicans hold the majority in Congress right now, also a conservative majority on the Supreme Court, and Donald Trump is the president. So what is Donald Trump doing that is beneficial for all Americans?
Well, he's not doing anything wrong for disabled combat veterans. I can tell you that. He's doing everything right for us.
What did he do for disabled combat veterans?
I know I'm getting my paycheck. I don't have to go through the numbers. I'm not going to play the numbers.
Were you not getting your paycheck under Biden?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I wasn't able to get certain health care. No, I was not.
How do you prove that to me that you weren't
getting that? That's outsourced health care. No, I was not. Yes.
I call cap.
I'm sorry. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, sure. Let's go through it.
Well, what are you talking about? You were not getting that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm asking you to prove to me where you were not getting your checks under the Biden administration.
My check? I was talking health care. That's not my check. I don't care about the money. Money is money.
You said checks.
Getting health care, primary health care from a VA hospital, which is outsourced. Do you understand? I'm not even talking about getting a disability check.
Okay, all right. Hey, so you weren't getting health care you're saying you didn't get health care during the Biden administration?
That's what you mean. Come on, Pop. Go to work. Because we actually work for a living. Sorry about that. That's what canines do.
The dog?
Yeah, I know. My dad.
That
My
ain't a
dad.
dog. That's a canine.
My
Yes,
dad was a
I have
canine. Yes,
I'm
my
sorry.
dad was a canine handler in the Air Force. I know what canines can do.
Yeah,
Anyway.
okay. And I'm a
Cool.
combat Marine veteran, and that's a canine. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
this makes
He's going
sense.
to work.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
talk to me about your
Yeah, I'm a
health care.
canine Marine, so you're not gonna out
all right,
talk me
all
about the
right,
VA.
okay.
No,
Let's
Mia.
let's
Hold
see.
on. Wait.
Let's talk about
Hold on. Mia
when are you gonna let me play
hold
with
on a second.
basketball?
Mia is going to talk to you about it because Mia was
Okay,
actually in the
talk to me
military.
about the VA.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Okay, you
Put
said
all
you
the
weren't
check
getting your.
boxes in
Oh
it, because
my
I'm a September
have to be
11th
gosh!
Marine.
quiet for
Please.
her to
There's
talk to
no
you about it.
self-control, and you claim to be a fucking Marine.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. I
Okay,
love that.
so
Yes, ma'am.
all
You have the
right,
floor.
all right. Hey, lock the fuck in. So you said you weren't getting health care during the Biden administration.
Correct.
Okay, and then but
Outsourced.
you were.
Outsourced. Not
Oh, so
inpatient.
you're
The
talking
VA
about
did what
how
they.
they were doing community health?
Yes, community care. I believe that's the terminology you like to use. I believe that's the term, community care.
Oh, okay. So do you know who was actually pushing for community care?
Am I so wait, I'm sure you're gonna teach me.
So yeah, Trump has been actually pushing for community care. So the other thing you were talking about not being able to get healthcare during Biden. Um, did you have any
Why
trouble
am I'm not
during
worried about Biden, but I'm worried about what's coming
because you
up in
brought
the
it up?
next 2 years. I'm not worried. I'm
Oh,
worried
okay.
about what
So
goes
you
on
want to know what's
today.
coming up in the next 2 years? Okay. So when we're talking about
Correct.
disabled vets.
I want to know
Okay. So when we're talking,
I
okay.
want to know because you don't. Okay, let's both say we hate Trump. Let's say this.
Hey,
No,
at
let's
ease.
not. Let's
Shut
talk
up.
about what's going on in care.
All right. So when we're talking
Okay,
about the
let's talk
VA,
about community care.
oh
I can
my
tell you
fuck, what
everything
is your
about
I
name?
didn't
community care.
say
You want the
community
phone number?
care. Oh my god, I didn't say community. I said let's talk about what's going on in care in the next 2 years. Mia's going to do that if you would stop for 2 seconds so she could talk to you about what's going on in care within the VA. Just stop.
Okay. So this administration is still pushing for community care, which you're saying that you dislike for community care. There's also the fact that they're trying to push to basically reevaluate ratings if medication is working. The problem is if you reevaluate ratings, that means you also lower priority if your ratings decrease. And that also means they're going to start messing with your money if your ratings decrease. So not only that is your priorities going down, but your money's going down. They're trying to fuck with your pockets.
I know exactly how that works. I'm not going to talk numbers.
They did kind of say, hey, we're going to walk that back. However, it was not officially rescinded. And if you want to talk about any vets, if you do care about homeless vets, they're actually trying to put on a conservativeship for homeless vets and then basically put them and institutionalize them. And then once after a vet that receives VA is institutionalized for 3 months, their VA pay actually or their rating goes down to 10%. But if there's a conservativeship in there, guess what? That means they can't technically be like, hey, I'm good, I can leave. They would have to go to whoever that
I can
conservative
explain that
is.
exactly to why they do that. If you want me to, if I get to talk.
You want to explain to me why they do that? Go on.
Okay, they drop your money from 100% disability to 10% pay, is because they are paying your bill. You're getting fed and
Oh,
housed,
he missed
correct?
the whole
Oh, I don't miss. I'm not
involuntary
missing
part.
any points, man.
I didn't do anything to him.
Yeah, he totally just missed the whole involuntary institutionalization. I know why they do that.
It's interesting that
Because it would
Trump
be the same thing
administration
if,
expanded access to community care in 2025.
yeah. Yeah. Trump has been pro community care.
And this was the Mission Act of 2019. Who was president in 2019?
Can I? Does it start with a T and end with a P?
It does. T-Rump.
Yay!
I don't know where he
where
went.
did
He's
he
still
go?
on the call. He's still on the call. He's not on hold. I don't know if it's
Ray, I'm not letting you up because we just got rid of the crayons. We're not doing this.
okay. I'm gonna hang up
Maybe
on
he
you.
muted himself.
Maybe. I'm going to hang up on you. Try and call back again. I don't know what's going on, why it's so completely silent. It's just 7:46, 7:47. Like, it's just counting up the phone call, but I have no clue.
Bye.
I don't know why.
Did he run out of credits? Is crazy.
I
He
don't know.
forgot to reload his Eagle card, Chicky.
No, because if his call died, it would have hung up, Donovan. It didn't hang up. Very, very confusing.
I'll
Listen.
be back if he's back.
Okay. Bye. Like, listen, if you want to talk about the VA, and you're saying that it's better under Trump now than it was. That's the thing, is you said, I don't like what Democrats would have done. Well, then show me what Democrats would have done. Well, you're talking about it, except Donald Trump did that same thing to you. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Yes.
It's the most MAGA shit ever, though. Like, I don't see how y'all don't support our.
Why you guys let my man talk? Why don't you guys let my man talk?
But then he goes on a tangent about Biden and how he doesn't support Democrats. So we're supposed to support Trump.
And he thought he was cool. Like, it's
But
a
your
canine.
whole
It's a canine. Bitch, I grew up around them, I know.
Yeah, like he's teaching you something.
Like, I didn't work it. I didn't work the job. I don't get my dad's valor. No, but
I think we all know what a fucking canine is.
the cops have him, my guy. Like, I don't know.
Just fucking eat a crayon and chill out, bro.
You already did that. Okay. Let's get back to this. Guys, I don't know what's going on. Why isn't my goal moving? But I love y'all. I love y'all a lot. But you just aren't doing the things. I do not know what's going on. We are tapping. That's great. We're behind on our taps, but we are at 180,000. That's awesome. So we're catching up there a little bit. Love to see that. I tap too. I sit over here and I'll tap when I'm checking messages. But, well, no, if you can't, obviously. But I just don't see why we're not getting our goal down with dollar trains and $2 trains. I don't see how we're not working on that. It's weird. It's a canine, have the same energy as female. Well, and that's the thing. Did he mean canine like it's a dog? Or did he mean canine like it's a working animal?
And I'll just tell you, the bigger issue that we have for football right now is I looked at ticket prices to try and go and see a game with my family. It's astronomical, through the roof. Now, I think football used to be the kind of thing that you could enjoy with people.
It's
That's
another
gone
dodge,
for too many people. So we
Abdul.
want to talk about football. I want to talk about access to football.
I asked you if you thought the NFL
It's another dodge. Why are we talking about the NFL? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? The NFL is a private corporation. Who fucking cares? Who cares?
was racist because you said the NFL was racist, and now you're
German Shepherd, Yorkie. My dad trained German Shepherds and Malinois for the most part.
talking about ticket prices.
No, I'm just telling you, the
wanna be
NFL is too
honest?
expensive. The NFL is too expensive. You don't agree?
All right, so you
probably
don't
can
think
afford
it's
it. You probably
racist
make a pretty
anymore?
penny, I get it.
All
but
right,
most
well,
people can't
I'm
afford
glad. You don't think the NFL is
Look, I'm
racist
just saying,
anymore. That's
most
good.
people can't afford that. Bigger issue with the NFL. You want to talk about the NFL? The bigger issue with the NFL is too many people can't afford it. I get you probably can, and I know that you're in New York, so you have like two teams that play in the same place, so you get two options. But I'm just saying that here in Michigan, we got one team, and most people can't afford to watch them in the stadium, and I'd like to make it more affordable.
All right, so
for more
you
people.
dodged.
Which is wild that you can't afford to go watch the Detroit Lions because, like, they've only been good for the last, like, couple seasons. Other than that, oof. Sorry, just had to put that in there.
Again, sex changes for minors.
It would be
Do
cleansing.
you support that?
Look, you know, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right-to-try legislation. The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor, it's between
You want
your
to
doctor
try on
and your
kids?
parents. Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that healthcare decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then we think we agree to disagree. But
I don't understand it. Coming from the conservatives, coming from the Republicans that don't tread on me, the small government crowd, you guys are the ones who cry all the time that you would like government out of everything. Okay? You want government as small as possible. But when it comes to healthcare, you do not trust educated doctors to make decisions with parents in a doctor's office. Are kids doing this on their own or with their parents' consent? Right. They would have to be medically emancipated, which the age is differential depending on the state. Most of the time it's 16. But you have to legally get medically emancipated. Right? So it's parental consent with you and your doctor. But you guys want really, really, really big government in regards to that. And yes, there are no sex changes happening on children. Not like that.
You know, you want to put government inside
So, Abdul,
a clinic
you're
or
a doctor,
hospital
right?
selectively.
Yes.
I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's thing-a-ling off? You think
that's not what the parent's not doing it, right? And children aren't having that done. So what? It's fine. It's fine. He gets a good comeback. Ready?
think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse, are you?
personal question.
Okay.
You're right, it is. Like talking about somebody else's decision for their child to keep them alive. Are you circumcised? Because your parents made that decision for you. You never had a choice. You didn't have the knowledge of a choice. He's going to freak out and say it's something different, but it's not. Circumcision is also mutilation. Okay? And the child has no say in that at all.
So you probably should want to move on. You probably should want to move on.
You should.
And circumcision's
Thank you guys
different
for
than
my pretzels.
castration.
I think it's a problem.
It's not castration.
It's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying that, yes, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can. I just think you guys are really
Why are you
selective
guys
about
obsessed
what
with
happens.
talking about kids' dinglings? That would be my question. Why is the right so concerned about children's private parts? Maybe, oh, I know why. Epstein, never mind.
Abdul, Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff. Boys playing in girls' sports.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying.
By the way, just want to point out we're talking about the real issues here. We're talking about the real issues that equate to you being able to afford gas, being able to afford groceries, providing safe, healthy foods for your kids that are affordable, providing safe schools for your kids. This is really the hard-hitting issues.
What about that?
So the question, so again, like Jesse, you have not asked me one time about the issues that people actually care about in Michigan. You don't want to talk about gas prices. You don't want to talk about groceries. You don't want to talk about healthcare. You don't want to talk about this stupid trade war that's about to destroy Michigan's economy.
We spent the whole interview
talking
about that stuff.
That's destroying, that is destroying our own military. You don't seem to want to talk about any of those things. You want to bring up all this culture war that, you know, I'm not here to fight a culture war. I'm here to
we
fight the
talked about
affordability
gas
crisis that people are
prices.
facing.
They're not trying to save children, Black Wolf. No, they're not. Oh gosh, what's this? W's to Omi Omai for the 34. Thank you. He said Abdul probably knows more about football too. Yeah, I think he played it, right? That was the thing, is they both played football and they both played lacrosse, I guess, excuse me. And they both played lacrosse. And then also, Omi Omai, thank you for the 10. Very confusing for me because Abdul is a good dude, but I love Jesse so much. You love him like what? You like to make fun of him? Because like that's like that, yeah. I like to make fun of him.
The Green New Deal, okay? If you want to do an interview,
I brought him up every time.
You can do the interview,
you're
okay?
asking me, like, you're doing
I'll
the
ask
greatest hits,
questions.
Jesse. Like, I mean, this is like, you could play this game if you want, but like, you can keep doing the greatest hits if you want. You told me we're going to come on for a conversation, and when we have conversations, I think it's okay to also ask questions. I just want to understand what you're getting at here.
I'm getting at whether you think men should play in women's.
This job is, listen, this job is thinning my hair. This job is thinning my hair. What? I literally have to vacuum my brother's office, his room, once a week because when I play with my hair, when I fidget, I get hair and it all ends up in a pile. So no, it's not thinning. I shed like a wolf. Yeah, they just wanted me to thirst trap, I know. Did you enjoy it? They said I'm getting fat, which I have put on a couple pounds. I'm waiting for my treadmill to get fixed. Hopefully my husband can fix my treadmill. That would be great. Then I could run on it.
U.S. Senator in Michigan,
it's a big
I'm
issue.
interested in getting money
It's
out of
shower wall
politics,
again,
putting
Chief.
money in your pocket, and passing Medicare for all.
You're
You know what most
filibustering,
people care about
Abdul.
what sports kids play. And
You're
also,
filibustering.
I'm just
It's a
answering
big
your questions
issue.
because, like, I want
You
to talk
guys
about the
kinda
issues
lost
that
on
your
that issue
viewers
last time.
deserve to hear about.
Gerardo, I will say that was not Jesse. That was Brian Kilmeade. Brian Kilmeade said that about homeless people, not Jesse.
All right, so you want to answer that question.
What issue?
You want to answer the question.
What issue? Go ahead, Jesse. What issue?
Should men
Go ahead
play
and ask
women's
it again.
sports? You have daughters, right?
I think that.
Okay.
Look, I played sports my whole life. Sports were an important part of my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to play sports. And at the end of the day, the decision of who gets to play what sports ought to be decided by the people who govern sports. I'm running for U.S. Senate.
That's a good answer. The people, okay, who should be in charge of what happens in sports should be the people who govern sports. They already have. The Olympic Committee has banned, I believe they have an outright ban, I think. And then, or is it the NCAA? Am I having them confused? Like one of them, it depends on the sport, what the regulation is, but the NCAA and the Olympic Committee have their own rules in regards to transgender players. So that's fine. They have their own rules because they're the ones who run it. I don't think the government should get involved in that at all. I think that's a great answer by Abdul El Sayed. Audrey wants me to play this, so I'm going to play it.
It sounds like you're projecting your fatness or your body insecurity on me.
I love it. That's great. I have to talk to you, but that's crazy.
Jesse, it's insane. I'm out here trying to take on like the healthcare crisis in big pharma, and you're asking me about who gets to play what sports. It's
I
silly.
don't know.
People can't
It's
take you
kind of a
seriously.
big thing if you've been following the news recently, Abdul. Let me ask you about the politics. We'll get to your race. Let's
Jesse,
do your
look,
race.
Black Wolf, what am I disingenuous about? I'm asking you guys. I'm willing to have that conversation. You guys just don't have it.
Right now.
Please be serious. Like I'm here with you. I want to have a conversation about the issues that matter.
Let's do
it. Let's talk about the things that people are actually talking about.
Okay. I am, but let's keep going.
You're not. They would rather focus on culture war issues that don't mean anything to people sitting at the table because that's all they have. Again, Monica is correct. The theory about fear-mongering being the only thing Republicans have to offer anymore is true. Okay? Republicans only want to talk about being scared of black and brown people, being scared of the LGBTQIA+, and being scared of communism. And now we're going to add Muslims back in. That's it. That's all they have is to be scared of these things. Well, what are you going to do to fix the cost of healthcare, the cost of food, the cost of gas? Well, but the brown people. That's it. That's all Republicans have now.
Black people in Michigan.
Well, I know you guys are talking about that, but like most of the country's not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Black people in Michigan voted for this white lady you ran against by like 8 points over you. What happened there?
Well, Jesse, I mean, you said it yourself, right? You got to give credit to Abdul. He ran against the machine. I got outspent 11-1. That 11-1 is going to do something at the end of the day. Now, my job is to go and earn every vote. And we've been having some great conversations in the community. We'll continue to do that. And I have a lot to talk about when it comes to my work taking care of communities. I rebuilt Detroit's health department, led Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services, got to work alongside so many folks in the community to give kids glasses, take on corporate polluters, eliminate medical debt. I'm looking forward to continuing to have those conversations, and I feel really good about being able to bring communities together and beat Mike Rogers, who you and I both agree is a beta and won't come on your show and won't debate me in November.
Didn't agree to that, but that's funny. Reparations, do you support that?
But you laughed at it. Because you didn't say you didn't agree. Like, Jesse, you're very good at telling me when you don't agree with me, but you actually laughed at that joke because you actually agree. Sorry.
Reparations, do you support that?
I think we need to have an honest conversation about the incredible debt that was put upon black folks as a function of slavery that we have yet to pay. And I just think that's fair. Like if people are enslaved and forced into servitude, and then we don't actually have a conversation about all that was owed, that our own country agreed was owed, I just think that it's past time to have that conversation. That shouldn't be a crazy thing.
Yeah, it's not a crazy thing to say that America made a promise and they didn't follow through.
I understand that, like, for folks who really want to inflame culture war, I just think it's important for us to think about how do we make sure that communities like the city of Detroit that have been segregated so that you have a disproportionate number of people as a function of redlining who are forced into certain communities. How do we make sure that their schools are made whole? I'll just tell you this, in the city of Detroit right now, they just had $700 million invested in their schools. They're still $1.7 billion behind. And a lot of folks want to say, oh, well, that's profligacy, et cetera, et cetera. No, a lot of that has to do with public policy. Okay. And if public policy created a level in which black folks disproportionately suffer everything from maternal mortality and infant mortality to lack of access to jobs, I think it's important for our country to have
so you want to have a conversation
about how we
about
make people whole.
You want to have a conversation about it because we have you on the record as backing it, but now you just want to have a conversation. I got it. I got it.
Well, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he wants to have a conversation about how he backs it. Like, Jesse Waters doesn't, like, his brain doesn't function like the rest of us. Well, you said you're backing it, and now you just want to have a conversation. No, I back it. I'm willing to have conversations about my stance. Much like I am here, but MAGA just continues to yell in the chat. By the way, for the MAGA who said, without MAGA being here, you'd have no show, Ari can attest to this, that I went live every single day at the same time from 10 to 12, okay, with 14 people in my live who were mostly friends. I will still be here. I don't need you. You are done. The country is done with you. Although I allow and have this background that says, why are you still supporting Trump? And I would love for you to come up and have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings. That's just kind of there to make you mad. I run a news-based show now because you're done. Your party is done. You do not win without independents, and independents are fucking done with you. I am not a registered Democrat. For those of you screaming about Democrats, have at them, critique them. I don't care. But what you can't do is go against their policy because you have nothing left to offer. That's it. That's all. There's my boss.
Yeah. Well, and what I was gonna say is like, they truly don't know, like, anybody that comes up to still have conversation with us, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. No one truly wants to promote everything that's occurring with this administration. That's why you guys will see former-ish, you'll see more people moving towards specific topics, or topic-specific, that's a better way to phrase it, topic-specific debates. So where they're moving away from trying to speak to MAGA because y'all don't appear. And you know what? The best part is like, for as mad as y'all are about that, they're successful. They're successful. I could change my entire background to being about the patriarchy or dealing with internalized misogyny because that's, I still think, I think it was Lou who made the best comment on my page that felt like my page was actually just an undercover expose of men and their misogyny that they express online. Misogyny when Mia and Queen are with me, so that's also valid.
Yeah.
But y'all just, the men specifically, like, and I would do perfectly fine just being up there to dog on men because that's how you all have treated me in my platform, that you're up there to try to dog on me and you get walked every single day. Like, we make adjustments because y'all aren't needed anymore. Oh, where would you be without us? Still here because we've been doing it for years.
Yeah, prior to
Yeah.
you. I could run the culture war shit you guys want to talk about. You guys want me to have call after call after call, like Lenati said? I can put up it's all men till it's no men, which I agree with. I could put up body count doesn't matter, which I agree with. I could put up stop going or keep the immigrants, deport the racists. I could do that. The reason I don't is because I don't need to have conversations about culture war issues that are not affecting your bottom line and your wallet. But you want to see calls increase? I could do that. I don't need to. I'd rather run a news-oriented show. You guys want the blood sport of these dumb fucks? There are places for you to go for that. I don't know why, because they're not worth it anymore.
Yeah. And even, like, for me,
You don't do blood sport, though.
I don't. Like, and that's, you, for as much as y'all love or hate me, most of y'all love me, that's what people come back for, is because I don't usually engage in just the absolute mocking of people, though I could. I'm pretty good at my comebacks. as you guys know from my little sound bites. Haha, you're welcome. So, yeah, I copied part of Monica's model of reporting on news for when I'm waiting for people to come up, because I mean, I'd rather, like, if something tickled my brain, I'm going to dig into it, and it makes me happy to dig into it. I've started doing deep dives into candidates, into policies, into stuff that's relevant, that's going on right now, because I don't care just about Trump. I want to talk about more than that. If I only cared about Trump, I would just have his face all the way up on my page. I'd probably put it over mine and be like, talk to your favorite man, and y'all would call in. Someone should do that, actually. Someone should put up a picture of Trump's face over theirs, specifically someone like Z-Pack or Jaden, and see how many people call in to think that they're talking to Trump.
Like, I think they've done that
Specifically
before.
Jaden. I think but he needs like a mouth that moves. I don't know how you would do that. He needs a mask. He needs a believable mask. That costs a lot of money. I'd help Jaden fundraise for that, because Jaden has probably one of the best voice impressions of Trump, anywhere on TikTok. Yeah,
that's true.
Fake Trump lives. Yes, please. Okay, that's all I got. I just want to say we don't need you. We're done with y'all for the most part.
It's true. I just wanted to look at this. Because somebody put something stupid. So I'm just gonna bring this up. I can't help myself. A systematic review exploring variables related to bystander intervention in sexual violence contexts. Where was it? The most commonly researched contextual variable was social norms towards intervention, which has constantly shown greater bystander intervention when there's a belief that peers support such behaviors. Most studies focused upon the role of individual barriers, in particular, gender of bystander. Where was it? Because I saw it in here. They did it by female. I don't know why I can't find the damn thing now. There it is. This body of work finds females are more likely to intervene than males. However, not all studies report these differences, and in some cases, this is influenced by the type of intervention behavior being considered. So, just for those of you... Oh, you guys can't see it. Sorry. For those of you yelling about men helping women being harmed, just be smarter. Maybe just be smarter. Okay, this was pretty much done, but I'm going to ensure that they say their goodbyes or whatever, that it is done.
I couldn't tell you exactly what... Go ahead.
Schumer, you said you basically
Cite me a
wanted
different
his
study.
head on a stake when you were running in the primary. You still believe that?
Well, look, me and the senator have one goal right now. It is to win Michigan. So we're looking forward to doing that. And given the fact that Mike Rogers, who you agree is a beta, is my opponent, it probably shouldn't be very hard.
Okay. I respect the fact that you
still
came
haven't
on.
opposed me. Mike, bro, talk to your guy.
Just quiet,
I respect the fact that you
Just
came
nothing.
on. I don't think you've really looked into some of the policies you're pushing. You seem a little naive, Abdul.
He literally explained every single one to you. You just didn't understand them. What?
I give you credit for facing the music, but some of the stuff's just straight up wacky. You know? I don't know if that's going to fly
Jesse,
in
look,
Michigan, but
at
we're
the
going
end
to
of the day,
find
you know
out.
what's wacky?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. And you know
Yeah, the ideas are wacky. Let Abdul say what is wacky.
what's wacky?
Yeah.
You know what's wacky, though?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you? You know you didn't ask me about?
What?
We got a president of the United States who cares more about the drapes in a ballroom that shouldn't be built than he cares about the war he just got us into, or that he cares about the affordability crisis. That seems to me to be a little bit wacky. So if we want to have a serious conversation about what
All right.
Michiganders
Well,
are feeling,
okay,
I'd love to
well,
come
I
back
gotta-
on and talk
oh, we
about
gotta
getting
go.
money out of politics, put money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all.
Okay, we'll do it
'Cause
again.
I'm telling you, none of that is wacky, and that's what Michiganders want.
We'll do it again,
I look forward to it,
Abdul.
Jesse. It was a good conversation.
All right. Thank you so much. Good luck in Michigan.
See, at least I don't dodge you.
No. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like 25%. Have a good night.
What?
Be
25%. What is he even talking about? Mia has asked you, Jacob, can you explain why there's no blue wave coming? Because in the House of Representatives, there definitely is. I don't know what the Senate will look like. If the Democrats win the Senate, it might be a majority by one vote. It's not going to mean very much. They're still going to have to work together. But I would like you to show me in any way, shape, or form where there's not a blue wave coming in the House. Even as we saw, we covered Hakeem Jeffries having the meeting with Jared Kushner. Hakeem Jeffries is coming out and saying Jared Kushner requested that meeting. Why? Because they're going to take the House and Hakeem Jeffries will be the leader. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh. And then Ian, you said the fact that these people support Syed shows they don't understand history. What history do I not understand? Democrats have a 17% approval rate with Democrats. Democrats have a 17% approval rating with Democratic voters. Yeah, I agree. Their approval rating is very, very low, and they're still winning elections. That's sad. They don't have to do very much. I expect more of them, and they're still winning elections. That says more about you. Apparently, you have not watched Harry Enton on CNN. You spelled his name wrong. It's E-N-T-E-N. Guys, we don't watch Harry Enton. Our literal good boy Red Bull Golden Retriever, Harry Enton. We literally watch Harry Enton all the time. We probably watch Harry Enton more than any other political commentating platform. I know the DNC is broke. Ken Martin needs to resign. You're just yelling now, Jacob. The blue wave is coming, sweetie. Cope. The cope is coping. Oh, smell the cope in the morning. It's lovely. Okay, we have about 30 minutes, guys. As we sit here, thank you so much, Scuba Steve. I did it while videos and stuff were playing. I don't know if you caught me, but I still did the math. Thank you for the $1.75. Thank you for the $1.25. Thank you for the $2.15. Thank you for the $1.18. Thank you for the $1.77. I don't see. Did you send all that again, or is that just my notifications being late? I just want to be clear. Were those new ones? Those were new ones. Yep, those were new ones. Okay, yep, I'm not crazy. Scuba Steve is just torturing me, but I did it. I did it. I know, I played it 3 times today, Blue. I did. I figured I would do it while I had a video going so that I didn't have to play. I did play it, though. Brings us to 8190, guys, with 30 minutes left to get this accomplished. I know that we can. We just need 82 people to send $1. And we could get this accomplished. 41 people send $2, and we can get this accomplished. I know we can, so let's make sure we work on it, because you guys only have 30 minutes.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
Okay, what do I have time for? That's always the problem. What do I have time for? All right, let's do this education piece. I don't know if we'll get through all of it, hopefully, but we'll see. So the Trump administration has had this plan to overhaul Head Start for a while, and it's going to be an issue for children who need that help in regards to start of school, introducing them into school. Head Start, you can call it preschool, whatever kind of program you want to talk about. Also fact checked 70% in the live chat. Oh, did you? Let's see. I have to move my thing. Hold on. Statistical necromancy. Jesse Waters is claiming 70% of Americans love their healthcare, which is fascinating because the only way you get that math is by exclusively surveying pharmaceutical lobbyists and Fox News anchors. Let's audit the actual ledger before he tries to cure your next medical emergency with a gym membership. The forensic audit, the receipts, the structural break. The claim is completely detached from statistical reality. As per the latest Gallup Health and Healthcare poll, positive ratings for U.S. healthcare quality recently plummeted to a 24-year low of just 44%. When it comes to healthcare coverage, the numbers are even bleaker. A dismal 28% of Americans rate it positively. The math legal trap. The financial data aggressively contradicts this narrative of widespread contentment. According to KFF polling, nearly 80% of Americans are outright dissatisfied with the cost of their healthcare, and nearly half of U.S. adults explicitly report difficulty affording their medical costs. You cannot have a 70% satisfaction rate when roughly 80% of the patient pool is visibly drowning in medical inflation. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Is that blue spicy ChatGPT? Yeah, I think it's Gemini, but yes. Anyway, they're going after your children's abilities to have a head start in school, to get to know the school system, and actually work on skills that they're going to need later in life. You didn't have any truth, Jacob. You're just rambling wildly.
Well, let's just start for context. How significant an overhaul would these proposed changes mean for the program? So, early childhood educators say this is the biggest overhaul, the biggest change to the program since its creation in 1965. This kind of, and it's not overhaul, it's not quite right. I mean, it really is essentially an erasure, an elimination of hundreds and hundreds of.
Jacob, I'm specifically asking about where you are getting information that there's not going to be a blue wave, because all the polling that we see suggests otherwise. All the election information that we have and the election results we have say otherwise.
Standards and regulations that sort of govern and dictate the very distinctive and unique requirements that make head.
And then Jacob pivots. I'm done talking to Jacob unless he pays me.
Oh, babe, he's not talking about the whole blue wave thing. He's just saying that the Democratic Party is being overrun by socialists. And I continue to ask him,
Cry.
explain. Explain.
Who? Who's it being taken over by? How?
Yeah. So it must be that Trojan horse that like.
Where they're completely open about what they're doing, but they're
Yeah.
secretly putting, Yeah, it's definitely that.
It's got to be that Trojan horse or that D-Day warning. You know what? But yeah, that's what he like. It's funny because you read the ones where he's just like the blue wave, but like the ones that I'm arguing with him about is about the socialism.
No, I saw one about socialism. He just kept rambling about other things.
Oh yeah, now we're on to Graham Plattner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's not in the party, so who cares?
Not relevant anymore.
No.
How
Troy
many
Jackson.
socialists are winning?
Troy Jackson for Senate beat Susan Collins. That would be great. We could work on that. Okay.
Yeah, Jacob, call in so we can talk. Tell us how socialists are taking over the Democratic Party.
You're not pissing me off. I'm trying to play something on education and Head Start. I'm literally not mad. I'm starting to get hungry,
Love you, bye.
but I'm not mad. Love you, bye.
Start different from any other kind of child care or early education or anti-poverty program in the United States.
It's moving a lot of those decisions from the federal level to the state level, the administration argues, correct?
Yeah, Arturo, and I ate crow on that. I absolutely ate crow on that, Arturo. I had a whole conversation about it the day that it came out. We did not know we knew he cheated on his wife. We did not know about any kinds of sexual abuse allegations at that time. And as soon as it came out, I said he needs to drop out of the race and resign. Like, I absolutely said that. That doesn't mean his policies were wrong. It means he's a piece of shit. Cool. Accountability. Do you guys know how to do that?
It does. It says that it's taking away all the requirements that are imposed at the federal level, and the administration says essentially giving control back.
I know, and he said he didn't know what it was and that he had it covered up. That's all the information that we had. He got it when he was in his 20s. He didn't know what it was because he got it from some hole-in-the-wall tattoo place in Eastern Europe, and he had it covered up, and he proved that he had it covered up. What more was I supposed to read into that? You guys don't give a fuck about Pete Hegseth's tattoos, right? Are you guys mad at Croatia? Thank you. You guys, Pete Hegseth's tattoos? Pete Hegseth's Christian nationalist tattoos? Do you have a problem with those? Or no?
To the state.
Same cross used by the Nazis as well.
And the states can choose what they want to do. If the states want to continue to have...
Real quick, because we're going to get to education and actually focus on the future of our fucking children, but I want to be very, very, very fucking clear. It's not hypocrisy. It's not hypocrisy because he covered it up. Pete Hegseth doesn't apologize for his tattoos or saying kill all Muslims or being a fucking white supremacist. Now, if you want to say that Graham Plattner was lying about not knowing what the tattoo was and just covering up in order to get into a role of power, probably. He's a man. Okay? He lied to us. We got. But as soon as those allegations came out, in regards to harming women, he was dropped. You guys voted him in as president. Cool. Let's get back to education and Head Start for our children. How about that? Because Graham Plattner is nothing now.
dictate the very distinctive and unique requirements that make Head Start different from any other kind of child care or early education or anti-poverty program in the United States.
It's moving a lot of those decisions from the federal level to the state level, the administration argues, correct?
It does. It says that it's taking away all the requirements that are imposed at the federal level, and the administration says essentially giving control back to the states, and the states can choose what they want to do. If the states want to continue to have some of those rules and regulations, they can do so, but hundreds of these rules, the requirements to follow them are gone.
So critics of the program are arguing that the entire program is just not worth the cost. They say these changes are going to be better both for taxpayers and for kids. That's an argument we heard from someone.
How? If you put Head Start into the hands of the states, how is it going to be better without that subsidization? That's what it's there for, to ensure that they're using the money properly for Head Start programs.
At the Heritage Foundation, that's Jonathan Butcher. Take a listen.
What the Trump administration is trying to do is to deregulate the program, turn responsibility back over to states. The program has failed to meet achievement expectations. It has failed to prepare students in terms of behavior to enter elementary school.
Did Blue Baron's back. Hey, Blue Baron, you got sources on trickle-down economics yet or no?
I think at least deregulating the program, making it more cost-effective for taxpayers, and most importantly, making it more effective for students is exactly the kind of policy agenda that we should be following.
So let's just take each of those in turn briefly here. The program is overseen by Health and Human Services, HHS, we should say. The current federal budget is about $12 billion. Would these changes save costs? Do we know that?
The budget is going to stay the same. The biggest change, the most significant change, is going to be eliminating a requirement for small class sizes. So
don't troll. The emotions didn't match your question. In regards to what? What are you talking about, Arturo?
Head Start has the federal requirements for class sizes or for preschool and childcare are some of the tightest in the country. For example, under Head Start rules, the ratio for a class of 2-year-olds would be 1 teacher for 4 2-year-olds. So states have different requirements. By comparison, the state of Idaho, the requirement is 1 teacher for 9 2-year-olds. State of Ohio, 1 teacher for 8 2-year-olds. So the argument is effectively...
Oh, well, he was in here yesterday and he ran when I asked for that, Arturo. I'm just being consistent. You don't get to come in and ramble about a new talking point when you literally ran away from my chat yesterday when I asked you for proof. So, you're back today. Where's your proof? Did you find it?
By lifting these ratios, and you get more kids in the classroom. And so you keep the same budget, but you get, the estimate is that they could potentially bring in about 250,000 more children into the program just with these higher ratios. The other side of that potentially is a possible lowering of quality.
And the other point that was made there about there's no evidence that the program helped kids to meet the achievement standards. Is there evidence behind that?
There's various studies. There's a lot of different studies on Head Starts. I think the one that Jonathan Butcher is referring to is there's one that shows that by 3rd grade, the advantages that Head Start kids gain start to fade out. That essentially, they have those advantages, but as they get into the later elementary school years, you can't really measure the difference.
You mentioned the concerns over class sizes that could grow. That's something we heard from the head of the Washington State Association of Head Start, Joel Ryan. Take a listen.
Head Start is not going to serve more kids if you weaken the quality of the program, if you undermine the people in the classroom, because not only are Head Start teachers not paid like they should be.
It's not a pivot. I was pointing one guy out, Arturo, while we still talk about Head Start. That's all. That was all. Blue Baron pivoted by coming into my chat on a separate day after running away from the source he should have been citing for me. Right, Arturo? So the pivot would have been Blue Baron coming in with a different talking point than what he should have been getting for me? Okay. Arturo, you were really civil and good at listening, and for some reason you get riled up when the other shitbags do, and it's very, very frustrating for me because I know you can be a civil person, unlike these trolls.
But if you
So.
start adding more kids that have significant trauma, that are living in poverty, those teachers they're not going to stay, they're going to leave.
Is that something you're hearing from other Head Start providers?
That is a huge concern. I talked to teachers, providers, Head Start managers, parents, and I think that really is the number one concern. And the point that he made as well, that it's important to remember Head Start is, again, it's not just a preschool program. It is an anti-poverty program, and it is designed to serve children who live below the poverty line. So they come into the program, a lot of cases, with a lot of additional needs. And so teachers say those requirements that compel them to make sure that kids get medical screenings, dental exams. The teachers actually, or Head Start workers, provide visual and hearing screenings in the class. They do at-home visits. So with all of those requirements gone, teachers say they're really worried that, this program just isn't going to function and it's going to be harder for them.
So we're just tearing apart better access to things for our children. I have another PBS one that we will watch as we continue going. No, Eli. It's not. He's just lying. My phone's on. It's on. It's just lying. Okay. Was this one? Oh, these ones might be articles, actually, not videos. Okay, cool. That works. So, well, no, this one's a video. Just have to load it. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Ad for PBS. One sec. Will we get the ad out of here?
Okay, so I did talk about this. So this also, there are priorities for children with special needs. There's also early education programs within Head Start that they actually start going for single moms and because conservatives love this one, for teen moms. And so they basically help with these screenings almost from birth as well. So it helps these people, because you guys are so pro-life. So it also helps with emotional regulation, which you all seem to lack. And talking about emotional intelligence, especially with those who do have challenges and come from homes that have high ACEs. And ACEs are adverse child, shit, I forgot the fucking E.
I don't know.
But adverse child effects or something like that are environments. And so basically those who do come from like bad background, and to help them get through that, so then it's less likely to affect them as they grow older. It also helps with for them transition into school, like kindergarten through 12th. And so it gives them that word that you also hate, equity, for those
They
that
just
can't
want their
afford
kids-
these high-priced daycares.
Yeah, they just want their kids uneducated, though, because that's easier for them to shape them.
Yeah, it
Adverse
does help
childhood
prevent.
experiences. That's what it is.
Thank you. I was like, effects, experiences. Yes, sorry. So then, because that's also what contributes to the ACEs, contributes to the decline in mental health when you get to the older populations, which you guys are also very much, you like to stigmatize those with a substance use disorder.
Correct.
And ACEs actually contribute to that. So when you're talking about ACEs and you're talking about Head Start and early Head Start actually help combat that for future generations. But y'all don't want to talk about that.
Well, let's continue to talk about it in regards to adults themselves and how the literacy rate is going down, because you guys don't read at all, let alone for pleasure. But if you're reading for pleasure, it does help your overall cognitive ability in regards to reading. So we'll play that now. If I can get that there.
In the last few years, there's been growing concern about how reading habits are changing among children, both in school and at home. That includes questions about what kids are reading and why fewer books seem to be part of their educational diet. Now, a provocative new essay is widening the lens, raising similar questions about reading habits across the broader population. Senior arts correspondent Jeffrey Brown has our conversation.
You can see it in the numbers. Fewer than half of all American adults reported reading a book of any kind in 2022, according to the National Endowment for the Arts. And just 38% read a novel or a short story. A separate survey found the proportion of Americans who read for pleasure on a given day fell from 28% 2 decades ago to 16% in 2023. In some ways, it's a continuing trend, but a provocative new cover story in The Atlantic puts it far more dramatically. The age of reading is over. It's by Rose Horowitz, the staff writer at The Atlantic, who joins me now. And thanks so much for being with us here. Now, it's a big statement that you're making, so why don't we parse it a little bit? What do you mean, first of all, by the age of reading?
Yes. So what I meant by the age of reading, was that this is bigger than what the statistics are showing us. That what is really going away is a time when reading was a major way that people transmitted, culture, information, news, and really derived meaning from text. And, my piece is arguing that that's ending and that we're entering what I call a post-literate age.
And as you remind us at the beginning of this essay, this age of reading, which many of us have been so immersed in for so long, it actually doesn't have that long a history.
Yes. Well, so, I think we think of reading as kind of something that's innate or inevitable, but actually it's quite historically contingent. Reading first emerged 6,000 years ago, and it was only relatively recently that, large numbers of people could read and that people spent a lot of time pleasure reading. So this is something that is kind of new. And when this age started, it really transformed society and the way people thought and the way politics and culture worked. And as it's going away now, I think we're seeing changes of the same magnitude in our society.
Now, you refer to what we're entering as a post-literate age. And there's been plenty of discussion, of course, about social media, short videos on TikTok and elsewhere. And you're arguing that we are reading differently already. So what do you mean by a post-literate age?
If we look at the statistics, people still know how to read. The literacy rate is actually historically very high. And, in many ways, we're probably reading more words than ever. If you think about the number of emails and text messages and social media posts you're reading, we're inundated with words and we're surrounded with them. But what's happening is that this kind of these number of words that we're swimming in has made it so that it's almost so difficult to focus on, any serious or complex work of literature for an extended period of time. And
So the issue is we have a lot of issues with attention span because of how quickly we get news and how quickly we get headlines, how quickly we get things on our social media now. The word that she's missing, which I hope she adds in here later, is comprehension. It is just constant headline hoochie, read, quick, keep going, versus actually understanding what you're reading. You can read. Can you comprehend it? That's the thing. A lot of people can't.
This is where the big words mean things.
Yes.
Words mean things, and there's nuance behind things. So just being it goes back to you saying people hear nuclear, and then they panic, and it's just okay, we could be talking about energy. We could be we could be describing something else. It doesn't necessarily mean, it's just a bomb. It's just a bomb. It's not that. You don't read around anything. You just see a word and you say, you know what? Ambition.
Yes. Yeah, the headline about SCOTUS from yesterday is a perfect example of that. Even again on the left, this is an issue with the United States, not an issue right or left. But we see where the right tends to be the ones who are advocating for this lack of education. Why? So that they can keep the population uneducated so they can vote the way they want them to vote. Can you guys stop crying in the YouTube chat? Legitimately, just stop crying. You have not been muted. Okay, if you've been muted, it's most likely for a slur or some sort of insult towards me in particular, usually, because there's a lot of you being really, really gross today for some reason. But you have not been muted. You're allowed to say what you want to say. You can keep crying in the chat if you want to. But if they do choose to mute you, I don't know what you don't understand about this. The First Amendment does not protect you here. Okay? Okay. Damn. Stop crying. Huge W's to Oh Me Oh My for the 2190. He said, I wonder how similar the stressors are between teaching in an underserved school district and running this channel because the vibes are exactly the same. Look, I'm no Hillary Swank, but they are frustrating. Okay. They're frustrating.
So it's not a crisis of literacy, it's that we are entering a post-literate age.
And you write, reading shaped the modern mind. Its disappearance will reshape it. How will that change things?
The bedrock principle in neuroscience is that you get good at what you practice and your brain adjusts to, improve at the things that you spend time doing.
Arturo, it should. Don't you support the First Amendment or only when you're correct? Yes, I support the First Amendment. We have to fucking do that. Do I really have to fucking do this?
This is what we mean about comprehension.
Yeah.
Comprehension.
Let's fucking read it, Arturo. I do believe in the First Amendment. It doesn't apply here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So what you have is that Congress is not allowed to make a law in regards to your speech.
Lonnie, are you Congress?
No.
Are your mods Congress?
No.
Oh, so we have a comprehension incompatibility here. Okay.
He's really great. Why wouldn't it apply here? Why, you can't allow free speech here. That's just insane. It's just the Constitution. Take it up with them. Make a law that forces them to do it for you online. Oh, big government, right, Arturo? You like big government. Okay, cool. Awesome. Oh, wow. Like, totally freak me out. I mean, right on. Education is essential.
And so if we are spending less time reading, as we know that we are going to struggle much more to do it. And it's not that, we're going to be unable to decode words, but we have much less background knowledge and vocabulary to aid in comprehension. We are less accustomed to persisting through something for an extended period of time. And already we see that, 2 decades ago, the average attention span on a screen was 2.5 minutes. And 5 years ago, it fell to 47 seconds. So we're already seeing, people kind of being less accustomed to focusing on something. We're already seeing an erosion of some of our, abilities to do complex synthesis and analysis and comprehension. And we can expect that that would continue.
And some of these things, we have been looking at on our program, and of course have been well documented elsewhere, just the way this impacts children and the way they learn.
Yes, I think for me, reporting this piece, sort of the most chilling statistic I found was that only 2% of American adults report reading to a child on any given day. And so I think, we see now that the current young generation enjoys reading much less and spends less time reading than today's adults did when they were kids. We know that every year older a child gets, the less they like to read. In focus groups, high school students described reading for pleasure as an alien practice. And something else that we know is that schools are assigning fewer and fewer books throughout middle and high school. In a survey last year, teachers in middle and high school reported assigning between 0 and 4 books a year, and 80% of elementary school teachers in a separate survey said that students receive a digital device by the time they enter kindergarten. So we're seeing that schools are really changing where they're assigning far fewer books. And so I think that we can
so I read to my kids every night, but real quick, Dennis, it's not overtime because it's still 4 minutes till my time. But I read to except for the weekends. I allow them to do TV on the weekend for a little bit before they fall asleep. But on the weekdays when it's school time, we read. And now they're old enough that actually they're reading to me, more so than I'm reading to them. But we prioritize books in my household. You just have to make it a priority. That is on a parent's accountability. But that is ensuring that we have programs that allow parents access to books for their kids. Setting up free libraries and stuff is great, but if you have your state and local government or your federal government who is subsidizing to give you access to books for your kids, those are the things we need. Those are the things Republicans are trying to take away.
YOLO.
YOLO.
Mia, don't run away, whatever you do. Don't run away from me. I promise I was coming up here for a reason. Safari, keep being cute. I wanted to put you on camera for a second, so don't stop. But no, so other camera. Thank you. So
She left anyway. Damn it, Mia.
no. So I think she did that on purpose. So I have this footrest, right? It's under my feet when I go live. Safari came up and was like knocking her head under it. And I'm like, why did my footrest just move? Because you can do it. I can either have it where the rolly part's on bottom or it's flat. But I prefer to
roll.
Go like that with my ankles. Yeah. And she was pushing it. And I was just like, why is my foot moving? Where'd you go? Okay, there's the fluffers.
Now she's hiding.
Now she's hiding on the shelf. Yeah. But what I was really bringing up was Gitlow v. New York was the Supreme Court ruling that expanded the protections of the First Amendment from just being Congress, but expanded the limitations to be all branches of government, federal and state.
Right.
So unless we're members of the government, that's not a... We're good.
They just like to cry.
Yeah.
They don't have anything. Nothing that they actually support that they can back, so they just cry. Donald Trump literally came out last year and said, what did he say? We've taken away free speech, or we've defeated free speech, or something like that in regards to burning flags.
Yeah.
Like, cry me a river. I don't want to hear it.
I'm gonna get really nerdy really quick. Moving from books to electronic devices such as the Kindle actually also restricted the muscle that basically helps your eyes move from left to right, which also affects your driving. Okay, because instead of being able to look over at look first at your side mirror, then turn your head really quick and then turn back, that has also impacted, right? Learn this in massage school. The second part of that is also it lowers your ability to basically be aware of your surroundings because you're so used to moving your head first rather than doing the whole peripheral vision thing. So reading from left to right on actual paper books and stuff like that was actually very helpful with your ability to be aware of your surroundings and your safety reflexes. It's very weird, very interesting. So people should pick up books again, but people should also understand words and that words mean things. And you just use it and be like, and that is why a Trojan horse is coming our way that we know about and we know what's inside it. I'm not getting off this Trojan horse bullshit.
No,
it
was so dumb. It was so dumb. Thank you, Blue. Yeah, it was his round table that he did where he said we got rid of free speech, even though he didn't, because the Supreme Court has already enshrined into law that it's protected by the First Amendment for you to burn your own flag. So nobody cares. Nobody cares. Keep crying.
Fact that this trend that we're seeing will only accelerate in the years to come.
So one thing you write about in the piece is the way that the changes in thinking, the changes in reading impacts who has influence in our culture. It's gone away from some of the traditional, perhaps, sources as writers to influencers and others. Tell us a little bit about that.
In a recent poll, 30% or 60% of Gen Z said that they would be an influencer if they could. And so I think it's a very different way of culture being passed, of power, being in society. We know that cultural and economic power tends to flow to people who are skilled at using the dominant communications media of the age. And right now, that is short form video, and it's not text.
I can't resist at the end of our conversation here pointing out that this death of writing warning comes in a very long and fairly complex essay form.
Yes, so
Made somebody mad. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
My age is 62. I live currently in Texas. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Actually, I did not vote.
Why'd you choose not to vote?
To me, voting is a right that I see who I feel has my best interest at heart.
Sure.
And I nominate that person to represent me. I didn't feel like I had a dog in that race.
So what kind of things do you support that you would want to see from a politician?
Fair housing, equal rights,
And Kamala Harris wasn't running on a policy of fair
I
housing?
didn't know enough about Kamala Harris because she was thrust in a position where she didn't have time to prepare a campaign. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know
She
enough
didn't
about
have
I
enough
found
time, but she did have policies in regards to housing.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to get that information until after I decided not to vote because I sure as hell wasn't going to vote for Donald Trump.
Sure.
He's an idiot.
So are you registered to vote in Texas?
Yes.
Okay. Who are you leaning
And
towards in the Senate race?
I don't believe in that Democratic, Republican, that left-right bullshit.
Sure.
It's about the United States.
Sure.
And the division comes with all of these left want this and the right want that. Damn that. It's about the people.
I agree,
It's
but
about us.
unfortunately, I totally agree with you, but unfortunately we are in a two-party system. So I would ask, who are you leaning towards in regards to Ken Paxton or
I'll tell you, I'm going to manipulate the system and I'm just going to vote blue. Period.
Okay.
Just so we can get Trump out of there. Because hopefully, if the House and the Senate are taken over by Democrats, they will do what's needed to be done to get Trump out of there. All it takes is an act of Congress to bring those boys home from Iran.
Right.
But the Republicans aren't doing anything because they're afraid of Donald Trump. And he's shooting himself in the foot by anybody who doesn't go along with what he says. He's ruining them, and it's like all he's doing is ruining Congress because now nobody wants to stand against him, and we need that majority vote to take care of what needs to be done. I mean, I'm not even mad at Donald Trump. I'm not even mad at him. He ain't doing nothing he's not being allowed to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. I would agree with you on that.
If you unlock the door to the bank, leave the vault open all night, let the robber walk in, take out all the money, and go and leave him unmolested, what did you expect him to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, I don't think that we have much we disagree on, though, so I appreciate you voting for the people. Continue to keep doing that regardless of party affiliation. I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, I'm going to turn the phone lines off. You guys, I know. What, I know. I'm crying.
You're talking books.
She loved books. She had a program in regards to books. This is true. They actually slashed a lot of the money that she was getting to help also subsidize. Like she put her own money into it, but she also had programs within the federal government for that they started cutting. That's that sucks. I'm done. Hold on. I was gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna. He won't be impeached. He might not be. He'll probably be impeached. He just probably won't be removed. Because they're. Here you go. You guys can have that. Yes, I'm muted on the other ones. Okay. YouTube and Twitch. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna send you guys out of here. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Let me send you there. I don't know that I don't think we're gonna do funny today. I think we need introspection. Okay. Probably. Let me see. I don't think did I see this one? I saw one of them because she did all week. My husband is going to be distraught. You do need to put your Dolly shirt on. She's gone. Oh, that sucks. About her book program and then... I know. Now I gotta watch Steel Magnolia. I gotta watch 9 to 5. I have so many things I have to do now. Somebody is going back to the cave, don't you dare. Don't leave me. I'm sorry. Okay. You're fine. Yeah, she did. She forgot she was up here. That's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's fine. It's no, you're fine. Yeah, it's news dump time. Look, sometimes you need a laugh at a funeral. If you've never laughed at a funeral, I don't know. It's too soon.